What is up? Come on in. Where is Nancy Guthrie? Come on in. Come on in. Come on. Come on, you three. Come on in. If I do these fingers just right, I'll have 40,000 people watching me at the same time. And I'm going to find Nancy Guthrie. Come on. Let's get the spirits going. Come on, baby. We can do it. What's up, One Feather, Carrie Joe, Taterbug, Martha, Larrabee? How's it going? Hope you guys are doing well today. It's raining like hell in California. It blows. Teenies, hey, good to see you. When the wind blows just right, it makes like a whistle coming down the vent of my hood over the range, the gas range, in the kitchen. The wind blows just right, and it's like makes this whistling sound like a tornado. Any updates? Well, we got people searching for Nancy Guthrie back in June, and then again in January. We got the Mexico connection. We got Harvey from hey, Annie's okay. We got Harvey from TMZ promising not to talk about these letters he's getting, and then next day he talks about the letters I think he's writing the letters himself and sending them to himself just to keep this thing going. I mean, it's getting to be stupid. I mean, come on, man. I don't think she's in Mexico. I don't know. I mean, there's tunnels going under there to Mexico. There's lots of tunnels just in the desert there. Those big, that whole area has drainage, for when it floods, and all those drainage tunnels, when it's not raining, they're like empty. There's just like, you can probably walk through them. That's how big they are, probably. And then we got the lady living under the tunnel with all the shovels. I don't know what she needs with 10 shovels, but good Lord. Can you guys hear me okay? Is this good? Same settings as yesterday, so it ought to be good. That was weird. He bought her a bag of dog food. All right, good. What do we got? I'm going to tap in on Jack and Lily a little bit too. A little bit, but this woman, this Representative AlmaHernandez, is talking shit about YouTubers. I gotta find it. Where is it? Oh, this is it right here. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. This grifting bitch. What is this? Pop-ups. I think it's on X. This is Fox 10. Oh, here it is. Let's just share the screen here and see what's going on. Okay. Shut up, Fox. Get out of my shit. All right, now I got it on this screen. I can just drag shit from this screen to this screen. That way I can see it while you're watching it. All right. Who's Alma? Alma is some state representative doing, horning in. Hey, Connie Branch, good to see you. Crab Rangoon, what's up, brother? This woman is just banging on the YouTubers because they're jealous because they don't. Their viewers, they have like 1/10 of the viewership of the YouTubers. And they're pissed.
Today in the search for Nancy Guthrie.
Investigators officially announced that they have cleared all family members.
Yeah, this has investigators narrow in on a glove that was found about 2 miles from Guthrie's home. Fox 10's Taylor Wirtz joins us live from Tucson tonight with more. Taylor.
Yeah, guys, a major development tonight in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie as family victims saying they've been suspect is now at a despite these real breakthroughs.
If you are not an actual
this
that misinformation.
This woman here who has no idea what she's talking about. Listen.
If you are not an actual journalist, if you are not an actual reporter, stop putting out this nonsense that is not only causing confusion. Based on the information they're putting out, we're seeing that the calls are increasing to the sheriffs and FBI on tips.
You don't think that's what they want, you dumbass?
Because they saw a video that someone posted. Is we have
this lady, they don't have shit, is right.
Individuals who, quite frankly, don't care about the individual involved because based on...
You have no idea what you're talking about, lady. Stay in your lane. You're a state representative. You are not a journalist. You have no business butting your fat head into anything. Now you're going to come up here and start slamming people that are getting 40,000 views. Like JLR getting 40,000 views constantly all day long while you get 200 in your stupid 5-minute segment.
What the rhetoric and the things that they're doing, they don't care.
They don't care. Nobody cares. Come on, man.
Just doing it to try to become famous on social media.
I think you're trying to become famous on social media. Get your fat head out of it and go represent your constituents and quit butting into other people's business.
These are just individuals that are honestly grifting off of this, and it's sad because we have a real family who's been impacted in our community.
As far as what we've seen out here in Tucson outside of Nancy's home tonight, people continue to lay yellow flowers and tie yellow ribbons around trees in front of her home as a symbol of hope, maintaining hope that Nancy will be found soon.
We're going to tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree if you still want me. Tie a yellow ribbon. I can't remember the words, but I remember that song. If I don't see a ribbon on that old oak tree, you can forget about us. Get on the bus. Put the blame on me. Yeah, Tony, Orlando, and Don. Come on, man. What the hell? That was just a clip of Alma, but I think I have her up here too. Let's see if I can find her. Let's see, Alma. What's going on here? There she is right here. Let's see what her fat head has to say. I thought I was on X. What's going on, man? I am Too Bear. What is going on? The old video of the Bumble Bunny trying to open the door with a pan full of weeds. What the hell is he doing with the freaking light in his mouth? Is this a professional? I mean, it's either, it's got to be a Epstein thing, where they're just, it's got to be a big story sucking up the media while the Epstein files are not getting looked at as hard as they would have, right? That's one angle. That happened strictly because they want to, you got to, these psyops, you know, you got to look at it like this. The, how do I say this? This is all created. These news cycles, they're created while Epstein is being ignored, and they create this distraction, and they sacrifice a woman, a whole woman, a grandmother, a sister, an aunt. You know, they sacrifice a whole person just because, and Epstein's not even dead. I mean, who gets hurt by this Epstein shit? It's all the people who were banging freaking kids on that damn island or whatever the hell they were doing in that little freaking blue striped tomb they had on the island. It all ties back to ecstasy, and none of them can escape it. But there is the possibility that it actually is. I have the Epstein files right here up on the screen. Department of Justice right here. What do you guys want to search for? Let's bring it up. Let's see. Share screen. Let me drag this over here so I can look at it. Okay, we got it right here. So, Department of Justice. All right, we got the Epstein files up here. What do you guys want me to type in here? Did you watch those links I posted on your last video? You left a message with the link, or it was in the chat, or what? Because I didn't see it. I don't rewatch the lives. I don't know if you guys are the same as me, but when you see yourself talking on screen, it's like, this guy sucks. You're kidding. Abdiction of Charles. He is facing life in prison. Oh my God. Left him on the comment. Go look. All right. I can do that. Let's see how I can just go to me, YouTube. Then I go to. Damn. Let's see here. If you still want me, tie a yellow ribbon. Forget about us. Put the blame on me. All right. How do I go to myself? Let's look. You guys like my thumbnail? I know how to make thumbnails now. They killed Diana because she was going to spill the tea. I know. That poor woman. She was awesome. I liked her. I view my channel lives. Got one live going right now, and there's another one. That's me, and then there's comments. I don't see no Taterbug comment. I see Sweet Leaf, Fuzzy Bedhead. Which live was it, Taterbug? Maybe it was the one before that. 2 days ago. Let's see. Turtle Gang. Shauna. Pit Road Mullins. I don't see no Taterbug comments. Hey Tammy, what's up? Anyway, I'm continuing on. Yeah, I got I've been looking at the Epstein files, trying to figure out how to get the videos, because there's a bunch of people that are downloading the videos. Um, so let's share this screen. So I don't really think this guy, it was a robbery gone wrong. That's totally not what happened. A robbery would have stolen something, and nothing was stolen apparently. YouTube's erased them, no lie. You put 2 links in there, they're gone. They are gone because it was the last video you put them in there. They're not there. I've had that happen to me too, where I would freaking write out a big ass comment on somebody else's YouTube, right? And it would show up right when I did it, and then I would go back, and wouldn't show that there was any comments to the, in the comment section. You can comment on the comment, and I did, and then it was gone. And damned if I was going to retype all that shit. Burglaries don't arrive with full backpacks. That's true. They show up with big old backpacks. Hold on. Let's look at the damn video one more time. Wish there was a way to do this easier, because you got 1, 2, 3 clicks just to get something on the screen. Okay. This is the weeds guy. And this is, I didn't ask for that. Stop it. This is the guy that looks like he has arthritis. His hand is curved like that. It's like, it's in the door. It's fine. They saying you open the door. They were after the gems and got the wrong house because Nancy was a witness. You put the link in the chat. In this chat or the last chat? Put the link in right here. Looking for gems, they would not come with a full backpack. That's true. It would be an empty one. This chat. YouTube kicked you out for 20 minutes. Had to get help to get back on. I think YouTube went out last night for a little while. Taterbug. I don't see no damn links. They killed Diana. Feathers. I left them on a comment. Go look. It's not there, dude. Or woman, whoever you are. What gender are you? How do you know what the gender is of the damn chatters? G of twins. Female, male, trans? I don't know. No, I don't see laws. Dolly's out there searching right now. This drone shit with the dude from Criminal Network, I think. Let's do this. I mean, this guy's a total idiot. Let's see, he's right-handed, but he's got his left hand. Is he left-handed? Because the holster is set up for the left hand. And it's in front of his crotch. It's actually not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be inside there. Probably, yeah, should be on his right side. But this guy's an idiot. Now, who's this guy with no backpack and nothing on? Does he have the stripe? There was a stripe. There's that stripe right there. Is the stripe on the other guy, or is this two guys that are, I think it might be two guys that are dressed up the same. They got the same equipment. Left-handed. Jennabug! Good to see you, darling. I want to take you away from the dolly vision. Oh, I think he's on lunch. Maybe. Anyway, this guy's an idiot. Maybe he did something. I mean, it's not a botched robbery, I don't believe. I don't think it's a botched robbery. This is Alma. She's a Jewish supporter. Share this screen. Rep. This lady. This is AlmaHernandez. She sure likes flared. Let's listen to this.
The Guthrie family. What do you think of that? How do you feel about that, given how strongly you've been speaking out against people speculating?
Yeah, so first, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. It's really frustrating. I believe that as elected officials, it's our duty to speak out when we see these type of issues in our community, when we see people taking advantage and using such a vulnerable situation for this family to then turn around and monetize off of it is extreme.
I mean, what does a news person do? Do the news people that give you the news at 10 o'clock, do they get paid? Do they get paid based on viewership? I think it's called capitalism, dumbass. Are you jealous that we're getting more views than you?
Extremely outrageous. I mean,
outrageous.
The sheriff clearly put out a statement.
The sheriff clearly said, don't have the YouTubers out there. It just hurts the family and the case. Come on. It's the YouTubers that are freaking solving cases like Gabby Petito, remember? The van guys? Yeah, get your ass out there and search.
Calling on the media, but I believe what he really meant was those individuals who are not the professionals that are actually out there trying to report the facts that are.
You know what? News people, all they do is parrot what they're told to parrot. They're not investigative journalists like we used to have in the old days. All you people are is talking heads. We're sick of your shit.
Coming out as we hear them, these are individuals who are truly just out there to create havoc and who are.
Yeah, they're out there. Dolly's out there just trying to just create havoc, and JLR's out there with 40,000 people watching him. He's just ordering pizzas and oh my God, a pizza guy came. Well, guess what? A pizza guy came for freaking CNN too, you dumbass. I'm sick of these people, especially this bitch.
For spreading misinformation in our community.
What's the misinformation that we're spreading? What is it? Tell me what it is. What information is misinformation? You must know.
The sheriff went out and did this with such a declarative statement?
Individuals who are truly just out there to create havoc and who are spreading misinformation in our community.
Oh, so you're glad the sheriff went.
Oh God, there's misinformation happening. Oh Lord Jesus, help us.
Went out and did this with such.
Russia, Russia, Russia. There's misinformation everywhere.
A declarative statement?
I am, but I would also like to see other elected officials. I'm the only one that has told people to stop doing what they're doing.
I left a message on her ex. I wonder if it's still there. I said, you slammed her on.
I've heard from many who keep telling me things. I agree with you. Thank you for
There I am. I'm back.
And at the end of the day, that's what we have to do.
CNN's Lee Wald.
From many people in the community who are saying, you're saying what a lot of people aren't willing to say out loud. And at the end of the day, that's what we have to do.
CNN's Lee Waldman, a reporter who's been on the ground there, actually spoke to a streamer over the weekend.
Oh, Andy from Popcorn Planet. He came there to visit his parents. He just stopped by the scene for like a couple minutes, right? 15 minutes. He wasn't even out there. He didn't come to do this. And they picked that guy to talk to, Andy Signal or whatever. I used to watch him, Popcorn Planet. When the Amber Heard trial was on, I watched him. That was years ago.
Went from Tucson to Florida, and this is how he defended what the so-called online detectives are doing. Watch.
We want transparency. You want to make sure no stone's been left unturned. You want to make sure you find the right streamer, but there's a lot of really good people, and I think the audience can figure that out. And yeah, they're out there doing a lot of work. They're invested in it fully because they want justice.
And they work way harder than you assholes.
What do you think of that defense, that these are people just trying to help, they want justice?
I mean, just look at what we saw the other day. We had one of these streamers ask one of their followers to send them pizza delivery.
Wrong, lie. She just put out misinformation. That's a lie. Nobody ordered pizza to the house. That guy, one of JLR's fans or some sub sent pizza as a gift so they can eat. I mean, whatever. You're a freaking loser. She's spreading misinformation right now.
Who does that? A person who is serious about their job, who is actually a reporter or working for someone and checks their facts, goes and makes sure that they're giving us accurate information, is not going to go and sit on a lawn chair posted in front of the home for days without moving to try to get any story that they can.
Get your fat ass out in front of that house and go see all the tents and the chairs and all the crap that the mainstream media has out there. And then you got two guys with cell phones streaming, JLR and Dolly and whoever else the hell is out there. Some guy from New York was out there the other day that covers court cases. And what are you doing to do anything? You're not doing shit. Get your fat head out of this thing.
Right. So I at the end of the day, people are allowed to do what they want, what they wish.
That's damn right. We're allowed to do what we want, what we wish, and you can't do a damn thing about it.
I find it extremely unhelpful. I don't
helpful. It's unhelpful.
Believe that a YouTuber and a streamer following the SWAT team who go in.
One person was in the SWAT team perimeter, and it was Brian Enton. One. And he's mainstream. So don't tell me that streamers were freaking following SWAT because nobody followed them. It was a barricaded off. You guys, the sheriff's department used 50 people, 50 detectives, 50 officers, 2 SWAT teams to question 3 people. Could have done that with 5 cops. And nobody would have known the difference. No, instead you guys had to make a perimeter like there was a freaking mass shootout or something going on. Good Lord, lady, shut the hell up.
Serve a warrant in another part of a city and a different town is important or helpful in any way. No one is asking these individuals to come in and do that.
Nobody's asking you to open your big fat mouth.
At the end of the day, the sheriff has been very clear. He's asking for people to share tips.
Tips? That's why we're out here. We're bringing awareness.
We're not asking people to send random videos and pictures of just anyone in our community and blaming them for what's going on.
This lady's talking out her ass. I mean, what the hell is wrong with this lady? Yeah, people are making money. That's what it's about. I think news has changed. They're pissed because YouTubers are taking over the news. Nobody gets news from you guys anymore because you suck.
It's they're going to do what they're going to do, but at the end of the day, I find it wrong
Ow.
and just irresponsible. A lot of them, I don't know if folks have seen, but some of them are even accepting donations for the coffee. You can send them coffee donations.
Oh my God, you can do a super chat in somebody's live stream? Yeah. YouTubers are more portable and they can cover a lot better in a lot real time, not like you idiots.
Again, someone who's serious and is doing this job because that they are following the ethics of media, they're not going
The ethics of media. Russia, Russia, Russia. The media lies more than anything I've ever seen. This mainstream media has its head so far up its ass that they can't see straight, right? I mean, come on, man.
to go and do that type of thing. Those little stunts that they're playing,
Little stunts that they're playing. Ethics. We're professional journalists. The ethics of journal. They're not professional journalists like we are. You're not even a journalist. You're a freaking state representative. Get in your own goddamn lane and go write some bill or pass a law.
shouldn't be allowing them, and quite frankly, they're just not helpful.
Representative AlmaHernandez, we know you care deeply about your constituents and your community. Thank you for being with us.
Oh God, thank you so much. We really love that you have an opinion on YouTubers.
Tonight, appreciate it.
Dumbass. Loser. Loser. I'll get something up here. Hold on. 112.
Bombshell DNA evidence in the Nancy Guthrie case and a media war starring me and CNN. What up, I am Andy Signor here as always with the lovely It's Kim. Back from Tucson, Kim. We've been live reporting, and while I was there, if you guys watched that stream with me and JLR, CNN asked to interview me. Well, the interview has apparently been popping up all over CNN today. I mean, a lot of texts. Thanks everybody for letting me know. They've, I guess, repurposed parts of my interview all day. And of course, Kim, using it in the context of those damn influencers and
those damn influencers screwing up everything again.
Streamers messing up the case. Thankfully, I come out better because they don't actually defame me, surprisingly. Good for them. But still, this piece is worthy of going through, and we will in a second. But first, I just want to update you guys on the latest. There were 2 individuals that entered the home today that didn't seem like cops, but they were approved by the cops to go in. They took like a briefcase out.
They probably were looking to undo a safe or change a lock or something like that. Repair the forced entry. I don't know.
They went to the back. And so one of them had a briefcase and they showed up to the house, and then they about an hour or so left. Aside from that, the big DNA bombshell evidence that's been teased all over through TMZ and others, turns out the DNA evidence from the gloves found 2 miles from the residence were submitted to CODIS. There was a lot of back and forth, Kim, of whether they were going to give it to CODIS, which is the FBI database. Well, now Pima County saying they did submit it to CODIS and it produced no matches. Additional DNA evidence was found at the residence that is also being analyzed. Meanwhile, Pima County couldn't tell how to write the tweet. So like 20 minutes later, they did another tweet. These guys are absolute buffoons. It's incredible.
This sheriff is an idiot. I mean, you guys, how on earth is this even happening? Let's see. How do I do this?
Incredibly frustrating to watch. And now they're also saying, to be clear, the Guthrie family, including all siblings and spouses, have been cleared of as possible suspects in this case. The family has been nothing but cooperative and gracious, and are victims in this case. To suggest otherwise is not only wrong, it is cruel. Guthrie family are victims, plain and simple. Please, I'm begging you, the media, to honor your profession and report with some sense of compassion and professionalism. Now, we were always very careful, Kim, when we did this. In fact, we called out the media that brought up the family. This is not only wrong, it is cruel. Guthrie family are victims, plain and simple. Please, I'm begging you, the media, to honor your profession and report with some sense of compassion.
Unless you're an idiot. Yeah, he brought it all on himself. And guess what? Until this crime is solved, everybody's a suspect. All right? Nobody, you can't say that it's not possible that somebody did it. They, you know, oh yeah, Annie said Tommaso was home, and Tommaso said Annie was home. Therefore, they couldn't have done it, right?
And professionalism. Now, we were always very careful, Kim, when we did this. In fact, we called out the media that brought up the family, which was Ashley Banfield of News Nation, previously News Nation and NBC, et cetera. And been a journalist for what, 30-something years,
She's independent now, in all fairness. But yeah, she's been a journalist for a very long time.
Yeah,
she's the one that came up with the Tommaso crap.
She's no YouTube person, as they're trying to claim it. But anyway, she's the one who sort of alluded to one of the family, a brother-in-law or whatever, being mentioned. Well, now everyone's saying, because of that release from the sheriff, nope, they've all been cleared. Now, I don't know what this, maybe this is political, maybe this is a way to make them feel more at ease. Maybe it was all nonsense. I don't know. We never really knew. That's why we didn't really jump on this. But because people have, now the media is getting all worried about all these sleuths. Let's get through this. I want to watch this scene because we want to point out the hypocrisy. Kim has done
If I see Brian Stelter, I'm going to puke.
A fantastic job. Let's get into it.
A major move in a story that has drawn interest from streamers and YouTubers, all trying to work the case.
And they show like this guy with this big ass camera, like he's shooting a movie.
CNN's chief media analyst Brian Stelter with a look at their role tonight.
Not Brian Stelter, the bald-headed idiot, the bald-headed midget.
Brian?
Oh, God, no. Please, no.
Hey, Laura, yeah, today's statement from the Pima County Sheriff was a direct response to the armchair detectives.
Oh, God, the armchair detectives. Guess what? I'm better than you idiot.
Armchair detectives, that's what they're calling us.
Wildly and sometimes irresponsibly speculating about suspects. You know, there's been so much online energy about this case. A lot of that energy has been good and well-intentioned, but some of it maybe not so much. At times, the chatter has been distracting and maybe even downright harmful to the investigation.
Maybe even lying ass CNN, whose ratings are in the dump, is a garbage outlet.
It feels like there's almost a parallel universe of these true crime influencers, some of whom have even flown to Arizona.
Oh my God. Some of them have even flown there. They actually traveled to Arizona. Can you believe that?
What we're seeing in our community and our city right now is just not normal.
That's Arizona state lawmaker AlmaHernandez, fed up with the misinformation being peddled online and on the ground.
We have individuals who are calling themselves journalists, who are YouTubers, and quite frankly, just really random individuals who are out there with their cameras and live streaming. But I think at the end of the day, what we need to be talking about is the fact that these individuals are actually, like I said, causing more harm than good.
Really?
Who?
What harm and who did it?
Alma, I'd like you to call out specifically these bad actors.
Yeah.
If this is truthfully a dangerous...
Look at her smug ass face. This woman pissed me off this morning. So I went on her Twitter, X, whatever, and I let her have it.
Thing, why aren't you calling them out? Because by generalizing all of us, you now paint this negative brush on us as if we are the problem. Internet sleuths, YouTubers, what as we all keep getting called, which to me, I'm starting to hate that name even more. I'm just, when people call me a YouTuber, we're way more than a YouTuber. We are journalists. We are citizen journalists, many of these people out there. And it's frustrating that Alma here is calling us out.
Individuals who are out there with their cameras and live.
Look at all the people out here. How many of them are YouTubers? Probably like 3 or 4, maybe.
Streaming. But I think at the end of the day, what we need to be talking about is the fact that these individuals are actually, like I said, causing more harm than good.
So what's the example? This is the only example they have. And Kim, can you check the Telegram while we're there? See if you can help me find that before I'm done taping this recap.
In one instance, a delivery driver tried to deliver a pizza at Nancy Guthrie's door.
Oh my God, a pizza. Somebody ordered a pizza.
According to local reports, someone...
Exactly, Nanabelle. You're exactly right.
Ordered the pizza for an unidentified blogger at the scene.
A blogger. Now, which blogger, Brian? Was it one of your team members? Was it News Nation? There's a million people on that. Was it just a random prank from somebody outside watching your coverage? Why are you now using this as your sole reason why we're problems? Obviously, this was bad. No, none of the citizen journalists you're calling, or whatever you want to call them, sleuths, was ordering a pizza to the house. This was clearly someone outside of that. That's out of their control. It frustrates me that this is the sole example they're using to paint us negatively. Because why? I think because they're threatened. Because they constantly have to make us look bad.
Exactly, because we're kicking their asses. Yeah, exactly. We can't believe we have to say this, but media on the scene, please do not order food. Delivery to the crime scene address. It's not a crime scene, you idiot. You released it. You released it, in fact, way too early and screwed up the whole investigation. That's what you did, dumbasses.
Sheriff's Department incredulously called it out, saying, "We can't believe we have to say this. Do not order food delivery to a crime scene address."
How did these people going to eat? Hey, Nina, how you doing? Good to see you. Nina Drew, the goat. Shauna. Yeah, who ordered pizza? Damn sheriff didn't even realize.
Yeah, no, duh. And the Pima County jumped on this because they bumbled so many things. It was the first time they were like, oh, yeah. But as BJ and others have said,
Yes,
this wouldn't have happened if you'd put crime scene tape and actually done the investigation properly, right, Kim?
and that's the thing, too. It's like, don't order food delivery to a crime scene address. Is it a crime scene? Because based on what you guys were doing, it was not under that anymore.
Yeah, it's not a crime scene anymore, is it? There's nobody in the house. Everybody's sitting there staring at an empty house.
There was no tape. There was no identification that it was an active crime scene. So if you don't have that identification there, random pizza dude's not going to know that.
Right. And when I went this weekend, there finally was an officer in the driveway that was stopped from people from coming up, including, I think, Jake Tapper walked up into the house and attempted to knock on the door from CNN. I remember JLR, or I think Brian or one of them, reporter on that. Jake Tapper showed up, tried to knock on the door, and then no one answered, and he left. But
what the hell's Jake Tapper doing up there? Oh, there's too many trolls over in Dolly Vision. Yeah, I'm over there to slamming them all the time with my wrench. I got me a wrench. Now I can delete shit.
But apparently he can go up there because he's Jake Tapper of CNN.
If they had press conferences, they wouldn't have all these people lining the street every day, would they? There would be a press conference, then everybody would go home. But no, they're screwing it up like idiots.
Ludicrous.
It's the fear of missing out.
John DePetro is a streamer from Rhode Island who flew to Tucson to cover the case.
The type of content I do, Nancy Guthrie update. All right, a couple of things. It's not for someone that just wants to watch the news and get a quick recap. It's for the people that can't get enough of it.
Now, I'm unfamiliar with John, but it looks like, yeah, he's out there streaming this, live streaming as well across social media, and he's doing a responsible job.
DePetro says he uses his own sources and aggregates from others that he trusts.
This
crowd force, crowdfunding, you know what I'm saying? We solve the cases.
Certain key people that I depend on and I use as a source. John Miller is one. There's few people that are as knowledgeable as he is.
But DePetro admits that others online are not as disciplined.
It gets tiresome because they just totally go on rumor.
Yes, there's always a bad streamer once in a while or somebody who does something maybe not correct, but I think the audience is wising up to the smart ones. Here we go. We got, oh, wow, look at this. Sawyer's crushing.
Andy Signor is another YouTuber who's been doing this for years.
We have about 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and we're on Instagram and most of the other ones as well. There's that view. Sunset's coming.
Doesn't have 1 million. It's only 900 something.
And Signor flew all the way from Tampa to cover the case.
Yeah, the guys going on their own money. They have to crowdsource the thing. Motor Mom, hey, how you doing?
My parents live in Tucson, and so it hit home a little harder for me just because I was like, this is tragic and scary. And I wanted to make sure that there was enough people really spotlighting the case because I'm worried some of the authorities haven't been as on top of it as maybe they should have been. We'll come.
There you go.
Back to that in a second, but yes,
Yeah.
they edited me okay. I was surprised. I'm glad they put the part about my parents, because that's why I flew out. I didn't fly out for this case. I flew out to see my parents, and while we were talking, they wanted to see me at work, and I also wanted to see what was happening, because I do worry that my parents are in Pima County, and I don't trust Pima County.
Signor says he first covered the Gabby Petito mystery about 5 years ago, and that story showed him just how curious the true crime audience can be.
That's what's, I think, really impressive about our streamers is the audiences are so invested. They want to be there 24/7. They want to help.
But while Signor and DePetro have remained responsible in their coverage,
thank God they didn't. They did.
Well, those two are responsible, but the other ones, no, he actually is almost to 1 million on just YouTube. He's got 965,000 subscribers on YouTube. I used to watch him. I started watching him back when he did the Amber Heard Johnny Depp case. This was the place to be to watch that one.
Good to their credit. They called us as the good ones. Okay, great.
Other streamers and influencers have not.
I
haven't seen Jake Tapper anywhere.
don't think anyone enjoys in our community seeing that an individual who they, got a tip saying that they are a suspect is now all over social media and everyone, calling them the kidnapper, right?
Who does that? I haven't heard anything like that. Everybody's a suspect until the case is solved, you dumbass. I mean, really?
Let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about that, because there's Alma. I need specifics, Alma, because you're calling out my profession and all my colleagues. Oh man, they're calling out suspects. I wonder who was doing. Oh right, Ashley Banfield, previously News Nation, previously NBC,
mainstream media,
journalist of like 30-something years, stands by single source accusation that Savannah's brother-in-law is a suspect in Nancy's disappearance after Sheriff Brandon reporting reckless. Banfield.
In every single kidnapping or murder case, the family is always the first people you look at. It's just crime 101, right?
Banfield has not knocked down, and Banfield is not a YouTuber, Kim, is she?
She is.
I mean, she's independent now, but she has been in the industry for a long time. And
she's a correspondent for News Nation.
Yeah,
she said this on News Nation.
She's been in this for a minute. And I understand why when she said what she said, people believed her. Now, we felt like it was a bit reckless for her to do this because it was so early on in the investigation. And on
son-in-law prime suspect. That was irresponsible.
The off chance that she was wrong or the source was wrong, the damage that it could do to this individual. And
No, he's got 1 million on YouTube alone. That's not including all those other places.
Genuinely do feel bad for him. I don't think it was.
He's got 965,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Right. But it wasn't a random guy sitting on his couch, like live streaming, picking his nose and going, well, I think it's this. And then the whole internet started talking about it. That's not what happened.
No, it was Ashley.
And in the way that this is painted, it kind of makes it look like they're blaming, an independent small journalist for this. And that's not the case.
And to be clear, people are mad. Like, I don't know what If Ashley's right, then, I still have questions of her releasing that before it was supposed to come out. I do. If she's right, then great. If she was wrong, it was reckless of her. It was. Let's keep it honest. And I've called that out. And maybe they were looking into the brother-in-law, and her putting it out there and making it more public didn't help the case. It's
if they didn't look into the brother-in-law, they wouldn't be doing their job.
Possible, right? All I know is this example that they're giving wasn't from YouTubers. That's the real frustration here. And on top of that, shout out again, Kim, what a brilliant job. Here's we now can confirm through an inside source. Investigators believe Nancy Guthrie at Epstein was an intended burglary, and DNA evidence is incurred. Blah 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 blah. Here
Wait. What was that?
YouTubers. That's the real frustration here. And on top of that, shout out again, Kim. What a
Brianna Whitney. We can now confirm through an inside source. Investigators believe Nancy Guthrie abduction was an intended burglary, And DNA evidence is currently being tested from the Range Rover that was seen being towed away Friday. Here's what we know and can report. That's bullshit, is what you're saying. Is that what you're reporting? Bullshit? Burglary? When they only took the lady. That's called kidnapping. Burglary is when you take like valuables and then you leave the person there, or beat them up or shoot them or something. You guys don't even know the difference?
What a brilliant job. Here's we now can confirm through an inside source. Investigators believe Nancy Guthrie at Upton was an intended burglary and DNA evidence is incurred. Blah 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 blah. Here's what we know as this woman Whitney
I want to
reports.
take you through the new information we've learned. We can now report investigators now believe this was a burglary gone wrong. We've interviewed multiple experts since this.
Oh wow! Look who found this. Oh look who it is, Rep.
Oh, thank you for actually being a real reporter who knows how it's done and has handled it all with professionalism and grace. I'm so proud of you for being wrong. That is misinformation. Are you kidding me? What's up, James? Good to see you, bro. This guy's an idiot, or this woman is an idiot. Represented, what is all this? Parentheses, 3 parentheses around your name? Is that supposed to make you better than everybody else, or what?
AlmaHernandez, thank you for actually being a real reporter who knows how it's done and how it's handled, all with professionalism and grace. I am proud of you. Huh, interesting, because this whole burglary gone wrong was later proven to be BS, as Sheriff Naris proved. Did not come from us. No idea, even though it's one of many possibilities. We would not speculate on such a thing. We will not make the evidence. Everybody come in. They have no clue where this came from. This is not something. It is not a burglary gone wrong. Any report otherwise is inaccurate. This is a very active investigation. But somehow, for some reason, this speculation, that was great work, huh?
Yeah, that's great work. That's speculation, because it was coming from whatever. It's coming from an idiot.
That was great work, wasn't it, Alma? I can't stand this, Kim. I cannot stand this. These generalizations are so...
On Curtis, surrounding the home, reporting that the current law enforcement activities surrounding a home belonging to a former county attorney is not accurate. I've never even heard that.
So dangerous.
I think the biggest thing that I look at with this situation, and I don't say this to belittle anybody or insult anybody or, you know, that type of thing. I'm saying it because I believe that Ashley Banfield probably heard from a source that she believed what she was saying was accurate.
They were probably looking into Tommaso. If they didn't look into Tommaso, they would be idiots, because he's the last one that saw her and he dropped her off at the house. Where do you start? With him, obviously.
The same as I believe that what Brianna Whitney heard, that she believed that what she was saying was accurate. Sources can be mistaken, mistakes can happen, and it happens across all media, whether it is legacy or new media.
That's right. It's Kim, you're right.
And we're all just trying to get to the bottom of this. We're all just trying to help with the case. But
I remember when this channel was first starting, he had blown it somehow in his previous job or something with the hitting on women or something, and he got like banned, and then it came back. Yeah.
But if we're gonna, you know, get upset about this, I just felt like this was a very disingenuous way.
Just added to the Clinton body count, huh, Taterbug?
To bring this in and to frame it.
Look at her face.
Disingenuous.
Look at that face. That superior, I'm better than you. I'm an elected representative. All right, Donna. I hope everything goes well, darling. Yeah, Vince Foster. I remember I was around. I mean, I followed Vince Foster case. He did not shoot himself in the back of the head. It's almost impossible to do that. Let's see if I can reach. I think they would just go like that or in the mouth, right? Have a good drive safe, Donna. Love you.
Way to bring this in and to frame it that it's the people from like the YouTubers, whatever, independent journalists, that it's our fault that there's an issue here. When the more that you look into this story, the more that you see there's some really suspicious things happening with law enforcement. There is serious concerns with the conduct
let's play
of what
real
is going
quick
on
before
here.
we run out of time on this one. Here's this is sorry, what is this?
My biggest complaint is that he had an affair and the girl accused him of MSA and he proved his innocence and shut her down. Yes. But he got kind of canceled, right? I remember that. And yeah. And then he had to rebuild. But he did. And it was the Amber Heard case that really got him going. And they met Johnny Depp after that because they were like the people that were covering it the most and the best or whatever. But that Amber Heard trial was just amazing. I was glued to that thing.
Role in the office.
In fact, I'd like to do another series. We'll go through the Amber Heard trial all over again and watch her like snort coke out of her freaking fingernails and shit.
He is a sergeant.
Sergeant who's part of a union, so he's allowed to speak out about nanos. And he
You can't stand Andy or who?
Feels this.
The blood drops. Tell me a little bit about, I read about a no confidence vote for the sheriff. When was that?
That was, if my memory serves me correctly, it was in 2024, early 2024, I believe. And we took an anonymous no confidence vote or confidence vote, and it returned, except for one vote, it was unanimous no confidence in Sheriff Nanos.
Wow. So he's been recalled. Andy has a big ego. Yeah, he kind of does. Got kind of a big mouth too.
Yikes. Unanimous in his department and a confidence level for this guy who's in charge. Unanimous. Interesting. Well, all I know
Except one.
Except for one. But probably, I wonder if he was the one voted for himself. All I know is we're doing our best we can to be as obvious and as safe and possible as always. It's funny, I sent this to my family, like, look, I made it on CNN. My sister's like, I'm glad you didn't order a pizza. And my mom says, yeah, we were hungry too. But we didn't order the pizza because we're responsible journalists. And thank you, CNN, for at least saying it that way. And I'm glad. But if you saw me on CNN, let me know in the comments. And look, less mad at. He could have done a better job and called out Nanos for what's actually happening. I don't like that CNN is trying to paint this general brush against all of us. Of course, there are some bad.
This Brian Stelter is a total idiot.
Bad ones. There's some bad.
Go watch. Who's that guy? Gutfeld. Gutfeld loves Stelter.
CNN anchors too. There's bad mainstream anchors. There's bad all over the place. But as Kim and we were talking earlier, if it wasn't for the online sleuths, they would have never found Gabby Petito. It was Red, White, and Bethune who was going through the footage, a YouTube family who went through and went back and found that van. And that's what ultimately led us there. Thank goodness. And a lot of that was then sort of solved from there. But don't count us all out like this. I hope they don't. I hope we know better. And this Alma lady, come on, girl. What are you doing? This was a bad take. Come with specifics. Come with specifics and name names. Otherwise, stop with this generalization because I don't like this thing at all. But yeah,
I'm with you on this one, Andy.
Keep tuning in. Hit that subscribe. Kim and I have a lot more to talk about, but we wanted to make sure we give you the best of it here in this recap. Bombshell DNA evidence.
Bombshell DNA evidence. Okay. 117. What do you guys think? I mean, it can only be one of two things, right? It's Jennifer first started following him. He was just over 150K. Yeah. He was all humble and shit. Yes. I agree, Shauna. He's gotten his, he's got a big head. He does have a big head. Yeah, of course she was kidnapped. She's not there. If she was murdered, then we would have a dead body. But we don't have that. We have a missing woman. She's probably in Mexico, if I had to take a guess. And I think I have some suspects, but I can't prove it. But I'm going to show you.
As we're discussing the possibility.
This channel is speculation. We do online MAB investigates. We do investigations. We speculate. We mull over the facts. We look at cases. We toss it around. We throw it around with each other and we see what we think. It's all speculation. None of this is supposed to be facts. We're not saying anything is factual. We're just speculating, just like the media does. So, there. Shut the hell up.
Possibility, the sheriff's statement of targeted.
Think she's buried somewhere? FBI checks the dark web. I'm still holding out hope that she's alive. I'm supposed to be doing this, huh? How do I make myself bigger a little bit? That's too big. I think I can make like a new one. Let's see. Oh, that's 2. Let's see if I can do 1. Let's cancel that. Cancel. Discard. That's supposed to be 2. Let's see if it's 1. Let's go like this. And then I can adjust this to what I want, maybe. Doing this live, folks. It's happening. There you go. How about that? Now you can see me better. And we can see screen too. Yeah, I like that better. I can see me better. More Mabster. That's what I'm talking about. Give me some more of that Mabster shit. Luna Moon, what up? Hey Luna, what's up? Hope you're doing well. Hope everybody's good. It's raining like crazy around here. The people that have been drilling for putting fiber up and down the street, there's a big ass sinkhole in my driveway where they buried it and then it rained and a big old chunk of my driveway sunk. Now I got a tractor, luckily I can try to fix it, but now I went on a walk and like everywhere they dug is like a big sinkhole, like a foot down. It's crazy. Mrs. Mab's good. She drove to work this morning in a freaking thunderstorm. Good thing we know the Mabster will never be that way. Nope. The Mabster will always be the Mabster. You know what I'm saying? Let's save this setup here. Let's call it Mabster. Mabster layout. I just made the Mabster layout. Wait, what happened? I didn't do that. How did that happen? I had myself like this big, and I had this bigger. I said save. That's what I want. Save that. Okay, now save. Custom layout 6. Save new layout. And then it just blows it up. Whatever. This is crazy. How am I going to get my layout right? All right, we'll go with that. I got to learn this damn YouTube crap. The Mabster is great. That's right. Turtle Island winner with no belt. Still ain't got my belt.
Kidnapping and the possibility that somebody understanding, I mean, it could have just been about Nancy Guthrie, but the odds are it had something to do with the rich daughter. I mean, I think that's probably the smarter bet. Fox News reporting, this is the headline. Internet user, they don't know who, searched for Nancy Guthrie's address and daughter's salary before Today host's mother vanished. This is literally breaking after the discussion we just had. It's crazy. I don't know how you can tell this. Fox News is citing Google Trends. An internet user appears to have searched for Nancy Guthrie's home address in the weeks prior to her suspected abduction.
I actually searched this before any of these people knew what was going on. I took some screenshots of it. I wonder if I still have it. Let me look. Yes, I still have it. There's the little bump right there. It's in July. And then in July sometime, somebody searched it. Yep.
Trends shows. Last week, the FBI released a description of the individual seen. They're talking about the guy, 5'9", 5'10", with the Ozark Trail hiker backpack. Other identifying items. Hold on, read more. Fox News Digital has learned that mysterious Google searches for Nancy's address and Savannah's salary occurred before her disappearance. Google Trends records show there was one search for Guthrie's address in the Catalina foothills between June 21st and June 28th, 2025 by someone in Arizona.
They ought to be able to track that like today.
Can tell you exactly where the search came from. The address was searched again once on January 11th.
So you go to the Starbucks where this idiot had his laptop and he's searching. You get the camera, and you time it up, and you find the guy, do some facial recognition, follow him with the cameras and see where he goes, and then bust his ass. Gumshoe detective work, like the Mabster would do.
2026. That's one of the dates that the sheriff's office is asking people to check their Ring cameras for. This is getting creepy. The January 11th date also surfaced in a message on the Ring camera app. Yeah, he's this guy's in my head. Let's see. A Pima County Sheriff's Department captain replied to the post asking users to look for the verified post. Okay,
Kind of understood her reading, so I kept my membership. She's the only channel I'm a member at Patreon, mostly because you can trust her facts. Who are we talking about, actually? Who's she? Oh, Grizzly. Yeah, she's good. I like her. I approve of Grizzly.
The man questioned. Hold on. Sorry, I'm reading live.
No drama over there.
Where's the part about him searching
Pre-offense
Savannah's
behavior. We talked about this week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wait, stand by. My crack producers texted it to me. Separate Google image searches for Nancy's address in Arizona. One, again, sometime between March 1st and 8th, 2025. Oh, Google image searches, guys. Google image searches, in addition to like just typing in the Google search bar.
Because they probably wanted to see her house, because I bet they wanted to Zillow it, right? But it was so long ago that they're not going to have the layout. Maybe they look up the layout on the county. You get the plans when they built the house. That might be in the county records.
Okay, also two separate Google image searches for Nancy's address in Arizona. One was sometime between March 1st and 8th, 2025. The other was between November 30th and December 1st, 2025, specifically looking for images or a map of the home. In addition to the address, in the days leading up to Nancy's disappearance, quote, Savannah Guthrie's salary was searched from Tucson sometime between December 13th and 20th.
Oh my God, that's pretty. Same thing happened with Charlie Kirk, and his searches just happened to be in a country in the Middle East.
For comparison, CNN anchor Anderson Cooper, who grew up in New York City, generated one search for Anderson Cooper's salary in the New York City area between March 29th and April 5th. Fox News' Sean Hannity also grew up in New York, and Sean Hannity's salary was searched once between May 3rd and 10th, 2025.
Anderson Cooper is a CIA plant. Most of these CIA's been pushing media for years. A lot of the media, gets pushed by the CIA. What they can say, what they can't say, what the narrative has to be, what the news cycle is going to be, all that crap.
5. Whoa. What do you make of this?
Yeah, we've been talking about this since the beginning. Victimology, about our victim, all the family members, friends of family members, but then going to the offender himself. What were they doing in the weeks, if not months, beforehand? One of them is obsessive, internet interest and usage, and who's looking up the parties here involved in this particular case. And of course, that includes starting to buy materials, backpacks, ropes, all these things, the Uncle Mike holster, whatever's in there. But it's no surprise to me at all, as we said earlier, and my partner and I are going to put out on our Cold Red podcast later today, the full profile of this person. The pre-offense behavior includes this type of activity. And if anyone knows the person,
What do you say? Profile. He's going to put out a profile.
As we said earlier, and my partner and I are going to put out on our Cold Red podcast later today.
Cold Red podcast later today. See, I'm an investigator, right? CIA controls everything that goes out to the public, including television, movies, and all of that shit. Exactly. That's why this UFO crap that's coming out, I bet you they're going to do a fake UFO alien invasion. And we're all going to be begging the government to save us. And it'll be them the whole time.
The full profile of this person. The pre-offense behavior includes this type of activity. And if anyone knows the person, and their computer has those images locked in there somehow, or a search history, that's a person we want to talk to, and the tip line should be called.
Yes. What do you think, Will?
Well, I think this is an absolute treasure trove. I mean,
it's an absolute treasure trove. Going to catch this bugger. We're going to catch this bugger soon. It's a treasure trove.
Fitz said, this is the advanced reconnaissance. This is the research that's done in advance on.
Oh, it's the advanced reconnaissance that's being conducted in this operation. It's the way called television. They tell us their vision. That was a good one, Jimmy James. Sweet Lee, what up? I love this. I love the way this guy talks.
On a potential prospect. So, absolute treasure trove. I mean, as Fitz said, this is the advanced reconnaissance. This is the research that's done in advance on a potential prospect.
This guy's like CIA boss of Sector 17. I love it.
Well, I think this is an absolute treasure trove. I mean,
it's an absolute treasure trove. A treasure trove. It's the absolute treasure trove. It's what they do. The advanced, sophisticated preparation
As Fitz said, this is the advanced reconnaissance. This is the research that's done in advance on a potential prospect. So I think there's going to be some reverse engineering against the IP address, which Google no doubt will be able to attribute to those searches to actually see any other history, any other IP associated data searches that have been undertaken throughout this period from 2025 right up until obviously the date of the incident itself.
Do you have to like practice this way of talking? You're on one today, man. Hey, do you have to like Mabster? Taking time out to see Mrs. Mab. Oh, sweet leave. Thank you. But do you have to like practice the way you talk in the media?
So yeah, this is a very useful bit of a lead that can be now hunted through, and with Google's assistance, that they could be obviously warranted or subpoenaed.
Reconnaissance, IP, reverse IP.
To assist them on this, and ultimately, this is the sort of thing that Google would love to, no doubt, to be able to assist them with.
Google would love it. Google would love it.
I mean, so you've got, I'm just trying to go through the timeline here. So you've got November 30, between November 30th and December 1st, someone searched for an image of Nancy's home. On January 11th, someone searched for Nancy's address and had also searched on June 21st, between the 21st and the 28th. So in the summer of 25, they searched for Nancy's address. Then again, 2 weeks before the kidnapping. On March 1st and 8th, between March 1st and 8th, they searched for images of Nancy's home. And then again on November 30th and December 1st. Again, now we're coming up to within 2 months of the kidnapping.
Yeah.
And then on December 13th, between December 13th and December 20th, somebody searched for Savannah's salary. Now, I will say this as a news person, they often search for your salary.
Right.
Like I've seen that because there's all sorts of speculation online about what my salary is, what all news persons' salaries are. By the way, they're like incredibly off, like so off every time. They never get it. There's a whole video on YouTube about my lavish lifestyle. I'm like, oh, let's see. What do they have? Like literally nothing in there is mine. Not the house, not the car, like nothing. I'm like, okay.
They just make shit up and put it out there.
It's all fake, but
It's good they're getting them wrong. It's good they're getting it wrong.
Yes.
it's very good. Yeah. But it's so weird. Like things are made up. So, but I'm just saying it may not be as exciting as we think that they search for Savannah's salary, because they do that when you're a public figure. But it's just it's very eerie to see they searched for that. And within 2 weeks of that, they were searching for images of Nancy's home. And within 3 weeks of that, they were searching for Nancy's address. Now, we don't know if it's the same person.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you.
But if these searches come back to the same person, Maureen.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think if they can actually join the dots together, and if it can be attributed to the same IP address for those searches, albeit in those different periods, that falls into what we'd call a traditional planning cycle or attack planning cycle.
Attack planning cycle. This is what we term in attack planning cycle. It's where they plan the attack. It's a cycle. These people, man, dumbasses. Who could use some common sense? A lot of this shit is just common sense.
In those different periods, that falls into what we'd call a traditional planning cycle, or
that's what we call a traditional planning cycle.
Attack planning cycle. So, there will be the selection of the potential prospect to kidnap, if it was indeed a kidnap. They would then revisit, they'd look at that site again, see if there was any changes, see if there was any alterations.
See if there's any changes, if the house had been torn down. See if there's any changes of the person that lives there. See if the prospective target.
Certainly if that, but I wouldn't have discounted, which is why all these Ring and Nest cameras of neighbors is going to be so essential to see if there's any repeated behavior. I mean, in the small area that she lives in, Nancy lives in,
small area, there's like freaking houses all over that place. It's like a freaking maze. It's like a rat maze. to get to that place. I don't think anybody could go there on purpose. Dolly has to put it in his freaking MapQuest or whatever, Google Maps, every time you go there, because it's like a maze in there. Especially if you look out from above, it's just like roads going everywhere. There's like 100 places to get out.
There will be a very easy pattern of the vehicles associated to the residents in.
There'll be a pattern.
That area. Any other vehicles other than delivery vehicles, if they're privately owned, will be very easy to identify, whether they be, vans, trucks, whatever it might be.
Especially at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Why? Yes. Why would they be? And I don't know. In what I just quickly read, they didn't source this to law enforcement. So it's possible they say Fox News has learned. Okay, so it is sourced to law enforcement because there's nobody else who's calling Fox to tell them that they did this. They learned
It's
this.
probably part of that public
would law enforcement. Why would law enforcement want us to know this?
Well, first of all, it's a big lead. Secondly, they're not driving by this house in June and on these other dates well in advance of the abduction with masks on or at nighttime. So, I mean, I just think it would be fantastic if one of these clowns got a ticket on one of the speeding cameras, because the speeding cameras don't record, but they do take your photo when you're driving through and that light goes off. And boy, wouldn't that be a bonanza of a tip.
Or a Tesla camera, or the neighbor. Maybe that's what they're doing with the neighbor's Ring cam. Maybe it's not even about they already checked that one perhaps for the night she disappeared. Maybe they're going back to see whether anybody did a drive-by
daylight
on any of these dates.
Exactly.
You know what? When you set your Ring camera up, you're not setting your Ring camera up to go off every time a car goes by. You're setting your Ring camera up so that, like my Ring camera, the cars go by, it doesn't go off. Somebody comes up my driveway, it goes off. Somebody comes in my main entrance to my house, it goes off. Somebody is on my hill, it goes off. But it doesn't go off with the cars, or anybody walking down the street. So you're not going to get what you think you're going to get with Ring cameras, because those houses are too far away from the road.
Stuff.
Which they still should
Mab knows all of this shit.
have done weeks ago, but that's okay.
Yeah.
International disputes, inflation, rising national debt, digital currency. There is a never-ending list of reasons gold has of holding gold in a information. Thanks so much for watching.
Thanks so much. What do we got? Jen Catherine Jaffer. We're going to have Catherine Jaffer up here. Who has a name like that? Let's name her Catherine Jaffer. Jennifer Coffindoffer. Wonder what nationality that is.
Coffindoffer. Hey, listen, I wanted to get true crimers. Welcome to Break the Case. I'm your host. I'm Jen Coffindoffer. Hey, listen.
Coffindaffer, not Coffindoffer. It's Coffindaffer. I'm Jen.
True crimers. Welcome to Break.
True crimers wrote Coffindaffer.
True crimers. Welcome to Break the Case. I'm your host. I'm Jen Coffindoffer.
Yeah,
hey, listen, I wanted to get caught up again from last night's news. This is going to be a nice, quick live, but I think it's really important to keep the latest out there so everybody is apprised of facts and the overall situation.
YouTuber. She's going to give us facts. She says facts.
I want to first talk about Mexico. And
sounds like speculation. She just said facts, didn't she? Did I hear that right?
Out there so everybody is apprised of facts and the overall situation.
We're going to have the facts and the overall situation.
I want to first talk about Mexico. And I want to talk about the fact that there was a guy, actually, U.S. citizen. His name was Luis Ramon. He was tracked by kidnappers back in 2019 in the Tucson area, actually about 60 miles north of Tucson, but still right in that area close to the border. He was literally tracked using a GPS tracking device, nabbed, thrown in a trunk, and the abductors brought him across the border. Within 2 days, his family was contacted. Actually, the demand was $500,000. I talked a little bit about this on the phone, or I mean, on the live yesterday with Turkey. Love the turkey. Anyway, it was $500,000. The Bureau was involved from the very beginning. They involved Mexican authorities, and he was rescued. 3 abductors were incarcerated and arrested. So it was a really good case and really well done in a normal type kidnapping case. I just wanted to throw that out there. That is, if you're talking a cartel, organized kidnapping, that's what you're looking for. We don't have that here. So I just want to make that clear, that I wanted to give you all an example if you even wanted to look that case up, so you can see the difference between an organized Mexican kidnapping group type hit and what we saw here with Nancy Guthrie. I want to also talk about, though, the fact that she could be in Mexico. Listen, if this were me that night, I would have taken her and driven her across. I think people, some may not understand how easy it is to get to Mexico.
People want Mexico, it's easy to go in, but it's not easy to come back. German. So she's Kaffen Dayford. I forgot what she's Dayford. Kaffen Dayford. Dayford? I don't know. It's Kaffen Dayford.
Flash a passport, you're in. Now, getting back's a whole different story, but getting in, it's in. Walk in, drive in, boat in, it doesn't matter. Fly in. It's an easy process. Look at the passport stamp, you're gone. They want us in. They love to have U.S. citizens in because we spend money. So the dates, the flood, nobody wants to go to Mexico except to vacation in their beautiful beaches and water. And by the way, I highly recommend the U.S. Virgin Islands. There's no reason to go to Mexico right now. It's a hot mess. No people still love to go there. That's great. I'm just saying, if you want to make a safer choice where you're not a foreigner and don't risk getting kidnapped yourself, because it happens all the time.
Yeah, and they're probably pissed at Americans because of Trump's going to start blowing the cartels out of the fucking water.
I highly recommend the beautiful U.S. Virgin Islands. There's 3 of them to choose from, and they're all 3 fantastic. I'm biased because I lived there for so long. Nevertheless, I want to talk about the fact that
she was CIA chief of those islands, is what she's saying.
I think it's very plausible that she could have been taken there. Now, law enforcement has seemed to just be looking in this area, in this 2-mile radius, for a long time with their sniffers and their canvassing and their search and foot patrols. But I'm telling you, that's what makes sense to me. I think they've probably definitely had lookouts and all sorts of bolos and things that were done way before this came into the news about them looking in Mexico. So I'm sure it was just leaked recently. So I don't believe this is a ball that was necessarily dropped, but I think it also could be a ball that they're picking back up after the initial lookouts and running with it right now. And it makes all the sense in the world to me. Look, Nancy hasn't been seen, deceased, alive, nothing of her. How can that be if she's still right in that area? It could be. There's the desert right there. I've talked about 4,000 bodies found in that desert.
4,000 bodies. Holy shit.
And that's just the ones that have been found. That's the best place, you know, the Nevada and Arizona desert.
Sounds like a body dump to me. 4,000 bodies. Good Lord.
Areas, New Mexico, perfect places to discard bodies. I'm not saying Nancy is not alive. I'm not giving up hope. I'm just looking at the different plausible possibilities right now. So the fact that they're revisiting that or continuing to visit that, and it's just getting leaked, I really, really think it's a great move. So I don't discount Mexico at all. As I said, that's what I would have done. But we don't know. Okay. Secondarily, I want to talk about, and I need to get her face up here, not mine. Secondarily, I want to talk about TMZ. I just want to discuss a little bit. First of all, I've gotten along great with those guys. I really enjoyed being on their show a couple of times, especially to talk about Luigi Mangione. I had a lot of thoughts on that Thankfully, you take stabs at different things you see, and those stabs worked out. Meaning, I try to look at facts that are known, and in that case, it was particularly regarding what was written on those casings that ended up with y'all and getting a case and facts out there. I love having a platform where hopefully you see this is not about drama. This is not about getting on and posting material of somebody else and putting people down and all the other stuff I see. It's just trash.
You're posting somebody else right now, that picture.
Trash channels on true crime. It's unbelievable.
Trash channels on true crime. It's unbelievable. There's good true crime channels like me.
But nevertheless, hopefully I provide that for you. And I love talking with the guests and everything. It's so great. I'm going to have more and more on as I get more active. But I wanted to mention that, this whole ransom note thing, I think if they just would stop doing it, I think the notes would stop coming in. I think it truly is a game, and they're just wanting.
Well, Harvey said he was going to stop reading the damn letters that he's writing to himself, probably. And the FBI, I've talked to them, law enforcement. I'm heavily involved in the case because I've got these letters.
Wanting to get their name out there and look at what we're doing. And again, I base that on the fact that notes were sent to 2 local channels. That wasn't enough for them. When they didn't get the play 12 hours later, they sent the same note to TMZ. Of course, TMZ came out. And so again, I really do appreciate a lot of the work that TMZ does. I think they've done great in entertainment reporting, especially. That's what I think of them more is, when you want to get the skinny on actor, I thought, I don't know about a safe. I'm just not sure that the family
safe.
First, who are these 2 people? Yes, I believe they were locksmiths that went in there. Why did?
So you're speculating, honey, just like I am, just like everybody does. We don't know the facts about this guy going into that building until somebody tells us, and then we'll know. But it could be a safe, could be a lock, could be a freaking toilet's clogged. I don't know.
Did they go in there? Was it about a safe? It could have been about a safe, but as I thought about that more, I thought, I don't know about a safe. I'm just not sure.
A better place to be stationed. That would have been a nice job, CIA. Virgin Island position, is that's what she had.
That the family would care about getting into a safe right now, but there might be something in there that they could have seen as a clue. So I think that is a possibility.
Something in the safe is a clue? Is the safe still there? Did it get broken into? I don't think this is a robbery. I think we've already discovered that this is not a robbery. It's a kidnapping.
The other possibility, I thought, did they get in there to fix a lock, any sort of lock that would have been from the garage door to the house? Again, I don't see any damage in the back. I don't see any damage in the front. But could the garage door, to get that squared away, could that have been? It's a little late, but maybe that is what they did. But nevertheless, I think those are 2 very viable options. I want to talk a little bit about the sleuth information again. I have one picture I want to put up here, and this
sleuth information. She's doing the same thing we're doing. We're sleuthing. No, I haven't. The record is impressive, but why from Mexico? I haven't seen them. Who are they?
This is that tarp that was behind that Range Rover that was towed on the Friday night last.
See that tarp there? I got a picture from behind the tarp. I have a picture of the back of the Range Rover. You want to see it?
Friday night.
Put one in the chat if you want to see what's in the Range Rover.
Execution of search warrants. I say warrants because it was both the car and the house, and then they seized that car. I thought it was interesting. They put the tarp up. A lot of people speculated it was because of the weather. It was not because of the weather. That tarp went up specifically to hide something in the back. That's what happened. As far as what the sleuths are saying, yes, I've seen all the pictures. Yes, I know who they have identified. Yes, I understand the criminality of some of the people involved in that. I just am not ready. I just haven't seen enough. And this is the bigger thing. I think when they would have had them detained, they would have had a polygraph. I understand. And I think they would have also DNA checked them. Yes, not against CODIS. That wouldn't be what's important. It's to check them against the DNA in the glove that was found in the unknown DNA in the house. Could they still be involved in not match? Yes. Could they be involved?
Let's take a look at what's inside that damn. Let's see what's in that damn Range Rover that Zach was driving. The guy in the white hoodie. All right. Let's see what it was. There it is. There's your view of inside the Range Rover right there. Take a screenshot right there. Ooh, it looks like something with a tag on it there. The big metal case. Is that his metal case, FBI thing, or is he taking that out? What is this case full of? What's going on here in the back of the police and FBI? How do you do that? I thought you were the police or you were the FBI, but you're not both. Sheriff, FBI, police, FBI? I don't know. Come on, man. Anyway, that's what's in the back of it. You can't really tell what it is. It's a big ass case. Metal one. All I saw were boxes. Gun safe could very well be. Or it could be, you know, it could be anything. You saw that? All you saw were boxes, leather, brass locker, toolkit. Yeah, something like that. Mab got it. Mab got the picture. All right, let's go back. Calf and Daffer. Why do you have to push so many damn buttons to get where you want to go in here?
In this, and the sleuths, who I love sleuths. Everybody knows I love sleuths. I work with sleuths every day. I think they're amazing. But that's the good sleuths. There's some really trash.
Good sleuths and bad sleuths. I thought a sleuth was just a sleuth. You never saw the pic before? I think I got it from Sleuth Intuition.
Sleuths out there that just love to post stuff for clicks. Take as an example.
That's where it came from, you guys. Though, go check out Sleuth Intuition. That's the channel. She got it's a good channel. I think he's right on top of what's going on. And we got like 4 people. Plunder, I think is where it is. I saw it, but I'm not sure. We did get the audio from Plunder on the Range Rover that was being surveilled. And it happens that the warrant on the Luke Daley's house was completely unrelated to the warrant on the Range Rover, as I'm finding that out this morning. I thought they were linked. I thought the Range Rover was like headed to the house or from the house. Turns out, no, they're completely different, and I can prove it.
The guy that was 5 miles away, the vagrant with the double backpacks, just trying to get into a lock that didn't
Guy with the double backpacks, that's a nothing burger.
even match up with the time frame, and didn't match up in any way with this case. No way. And I came out very early and said that. Actually, that picture was sent to me probably 12 hours before 24 hours, I think, before TMZ busted kind of it all open. And at the time, you know, I said, nah, this isn't involved, because it seemed very obvious to me from the distance and from the timing and just the overall look and what was happening. I mean, the guy's over there vaping, you know, this isn't a guy that's getting ready to commit the biggest kidnapping of his life, of anybody's life. So anyway, it's just stuff like that. It's fine to throw stuff out there. Hey, what do you guys think about this? But that got so spun up, and it was so ridiculous. So just watch who you're really monitoring as a good sleuth. I think that's important.
Thanks, Jenna Bug. Yeah, he's a good channel.
And of course, all the people who really, and I'm not talking about discussing Annie and discussing clues regarding Tommaso Siena. Of course, that needed to be discussed to a degree, but the name blaming and pointing for some slews. I did not agree with that.
I don't think anybody is pointing fingers at people. Is a pic from Fox or where? I got the pic from, I think I got the pic from Sleuth Intuition, but I don't know where it came from. Somebody had a camera back there that took that picture because they sure didn't want anybody seeing what was in there. And there's something in that box. Maybe they had that box opened, and that's why I don't know. I'm not saying anything. I'm just speculating, not throwing. Yeah, that face, Jenna Bug, that face.
And I didn't participate.
What's in there? Could be on to something here.
I wasn't convinced. Okay, so that's why I'm not convinced yet. And until I feel like, wow, I've got this nailed down, I'm not going to come forward. But I tell you, that whole Range Rover thing, I do find extremely interesting. Finally, and this is the last thing I'm going to touch on this morning, I want to touch on.
So how did we get the Range Rover? How did the Range Rover come into the picture? Did somebody notice that Luke looks exactly like, or matches, his face matches exactly the masked person, and Zach actually matches the other guy? I think there was two guys and they were all wearing the same outfit. It's possible. I think it's possible that there was two guys wearing the same outfit, same backpack. I think there was only one, possibly there was only one holster, but I think there might have been two guys.
All these people that are.
You had to have a driver, you had to have somebody to watch. It's got to be more than one person involved here, right? How can you take a person and not have help?
Literally still blaming the Guthrie family.
And look at this. This is 2 to 3 men. Yeah, this is horrible. This is Savannah just before this happened.
Savannah still going with some premise that she wasn't doing well or whatever, and was worried about her position, blah, 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 or that it's her husband and his. No, they have been cleared. This happened in the Idaho case specifically for the same reason. We are in a different day and age in investigations now, where when you have high profile, it is the right thing to do to clear. If I might have some people in law enforcement, even the Bureau retired, that don't agree with me. That's my position. There's no reason to drag people through the mud, and that transparency I thought was very important. Did the Bureau write that statement? Absolutely.
I think you got to do your investigation, but you don't have to. You don't have to blame people online. You don't have to drag people through the mud, but you have to look at all the possibilities. If you don't, you're an idiot, because a detective detects things. And if you don't look at everybody, the husband, you got to look at him, you got to look at the kids, you got to look at his company, you got to look at who he was involved with, you got to look at all of that stuff before you just. I got a picture of Epstein and her husband on a freaking plane or something. I have it in my pictures. Maybe I'll pull it up and show you.
Absolutely not. But did the Bureau concur? Absolutely.
I see something good when I'm watching something. I just do a screenshot on my iPad. You got to go. Good live stream, brother. Stay safe. You too, brother. It's good to see you, Jim.
Been behind the scenes, worked these cases, assigned for 15 years to local departments, working cases, working gangs where there's kidnappings and murders and violent crime. And this was the right thing to do. I want you to take, and this is why I posted this. This was Savannah Guthrie after she had a procedure or surgery of some type done on her vocal cords. I guess she was, starting to lose her voice. And it's so funny. My husband's starting to lose his voice, and he doesn't talk enough to lose his voice. I should be the one losing my voice because I talk way too much. Nevertheless, she got the surgery to assist with the vocal cords, apparently. So this is when she first came back, January 2026. So this is a very recent picture. I want to put up a still.
Oh my God. That's what she looks like now. Yeah. I mean, she's been through hell. Look at this. From that
to assist with the vocal cords, apparently. So this is when she first came back, January 2026. So this is a very recent picture. I want to put up a still from her last.
Oh my God. It looks like she's lost weight. Her face has changed completely. Look at her. She's been crying. She doesn't know what to do. Her mother's missing. Somebody wants her to suffer. And they want her to suffer bad. She's broken. Damn. The Clintons will aid you. Damn, those Clintons ought to be thrown in freaking jail, if you got my opinion.
Plea. For all of those out there saying that Savannah's involved, that her husband's involved, that the family isn't cleared, this is what you're doing to Savannah. It's bad enough that Nancy Guthrie, her mother, still is unaccounted for. That's terrible enough. It's bad enough that she has to listen to reports about these ransom notes and just be absolutely, tortured with that. That's bad. That's all very bad. But to have the sister she loves, and you can see it, just please look at pictures of them. And I should have brought a bunch of pictures to put up. This is going to be a short one. Pictures of them together. Pictures of her brother. Her husband just flew out to Tucson to be with her. A lot of people thought that that.
I disagree. You have to look at everybody. You don't have to blame them. You don't have to drag them through the mud, but you have to do your due diligence on all of it. You have to do your due diligence on all of it. And if that, there's consequences for that. Now, if you come out and say XYZ did it, and I think he's a freaking loser, and, I'm putting his financials up there, and they did it because they're going to inherit money and they couldn't afford the house, that's probably bullshit. Family has to be the first suspect in these crimes because 90% of the time it's somebody you know. So you have to do your due diligence if you're going to be a detective.
Savannah had left and gone to Florida, and were asking me about that. No, she's still in Tucson, and her husband flew out there to be there. I had to do some looking into that. This is the face. Again, I want to show her just weeks before. This isn't in studio. This was at her house. Everybody accusing the people she loves the most in this world. One of the people she loved the most is unaccounted for. The other is her husband, the father of her children, that people are still going after. And
I don't get it. Going after. You have to do your due diligence. You should not drag people through the mud. I agree. But you still have to do your due diligence.
Still going after.
Hey, Sandra, Ernest.
Tommaso and the sister. It's done. She reads this. I guarantee you. I believe her background is as an attorney. She's a journalist. She is out there trying to find any clues she can. She's begging and pleading, using phraseology and overarching themes from her own book. Again, I brought up that book, both books she wrote are sold at Walmart. I was thinking, wow, one-stop shop for this guy. The shirt was sold there. The holster was sold there. The backpack was.
I don't think a book has anything to do with it.
Sold exclusively there. And by the way, it was exclusively there. I double-checked that fact. Kelly Roberts, who I absolutely love. I don't know, but I guarantee it's a possibility. Walmart, it's their signature backpack. Anyway, the bottom line is her books were both sold there. Are these books definitely something that inspired this?
I doubt it.
I don't know, but I guarantee it's a possibility. And it's a possibility I would be looking.
Do you think a book caused somebody to freaking You did? All right, sweet, Shauna. Thank you. Or you can email it to me at mabinvestigates@gmail.com. I got a little banner that has my email address on it. Let's see. Bam, right there. So it's going across the bottom now. I also started a Facebook. It's called Mab Investigates. Let's be friends. I didn't want to use my personal one, so I started a new Facebook one so I could do the community thing. So we got that. I got that started. So that'll be cool.
Into. I'd also see who
Call-in number and chat. Oh, I don't have a call. Oh,
bought those books.
I'm reading stuff on the thing that's not, you guys can't see.
Yes, the backpack, the clothing, the holster, all of this could have been bought 2 years ago, could have been given to the guy. There's a lot of possibilities, but you can bet they have to ferret out whether this could lead to him. Finally, I just want to say, for all of the naysayers, all the people worried about this going cold, this isn't going to go cold. Do you know why? Because someone.
No, because you have sleuths that aren't going to let it go. And we're going to be on it until we find out who the hell did this. We're not going to let Pima screw it up and not find out who did it.
Knows the guy on that porch. They recognize those eyebrows. They recognize the gait. They recognize the clothing. They're going to.
I got a match for both.
See that backpack. They know
Allegedly.
about that ring he wore underneath that glove. They know what's in that pocket. They know that this is their. Just imagine if this were your husband or this were your father or sibling. You'd be like, oh my God, that's him. What I would love to see is $1 million put on this. I would love to see Nancy.
Why isn't $1 million put on it? Why isn't $1 million put on it now? It's some anonymous lawyer had to put up 100,000. Apparently JLR is putting up 100,000 and the FBI is putting 100,000 allegedly. That's what I hear. So it's up to 300,000. I think so.
Pledge 800,000. We're at, I think, 200,000 right now, thanks to a private donor. I brought that up within probably 1 hour of him donating that, because it was so important to point out who he was. I named him. I put him in my Twitter space. I mean, what a wonderful.
Not important who it is. It's important that there's an amount, that there's a motive to turn these guys in.
Gentlemen, and I hope.
Should have been anonymous and stayed anonymous.
If I were Nancy, I would match that $1 million, and hopefully the equally disgusting schmucks who are not coming forward with the identity of this person to solve this case. They can even do it anonymously. Give the name, give the location, give how you know, give it over to law enforcement. But my gosh, the fact that whoever sees this isn't doing that is sick. And again, they're just as sick. And I hope that if that isn't how this case is solved, that they are equally prosecuted. Maybe not equally, but they're prosecuted. All right, everybody, I've got to run. Thank you so much again.
That's it. She just left us like that.
Let's see. Got my yellow on and
is that yellow? It's supposed to be something.
I don't have too much going on today other than work and an important match. Everyone have a blessed day. And until next time, may justice be served for Nancy Guthrie.
All right. That's that. Oh, God. This guy. I'm not going to talk about the I'm not going to talk about those letters anymore. We're not going to discuss them anymore. We're not going to discuss them. Here he is discussing them.
For Nancy Guthrie has gone international. We have learned the FBI has told federal Mexican law enforcement to tell various police agencies to be on the lookout for Nancy and her kidnapper. Now, our law enforcement sources are telling us that it is possible they believe that Nancy was taken across the border, but they doubt if she is across the border that it happened directly after the kidnapping. We're told.
How in the hell do you know that? There is no possible way you could know that.
That because we know now that the FBI checked cameras, Border Patrol cameras, and also other various electronic devices. We are asked not to be specific about that. And they have
big FBI guy
come up dry. There is nothing showing any movement across the border where they suspect Nancy Guthrie was in.
I can see Laura Calvert. I liked Laura
in that car. Now, that said, we're told that she could have been taken at some point after the kidnapping, a day or so later or 2 days later. They just don't know.
She could have been taken before she was kidnapped.
And obviously, there is a way to get across the border undetected. But right now, they have put the word out, and so far, no luck. There is something else. TMZ obtained another ransom note today.
You're not supposed to be talking about those. He said he wasn't going to say it. Now he's doing it.
This is a highly sophisticated demand involving a form of crypto, not Bitcoin.
Probably Ethereum or something like that. Mab knows all about crypto. In fact, they made like, one day I made like 40 grand in crypto in like 2 hours. It was crazy.
Now, it is...
I see you. Emmeline Clark, I see you too. I'm watching the same show you guys are watching. I see all you guys. Yeah. They should keep things close to the vest. Yeah. We don't know how much they know. Look at the Kohlberger case. They had Kohlberger under surveillance like 2 days after the situation. And they said we'd learn nothing until they arrested him, right? So that could be the same here. We don't know.
Demanding roughly the same amount as the demand letter we received, shortly after the kidnapping, the $6 million demand. It's not exactly that, but it's close to that. The demand graphically describes the consequences if the demand is not met. It also involves the media, saying that the media essentially becomes a go-between, a trigger, if you will, for getting this ransom money. We have been asked not to be specific about any of that beyond what we've just said.
Now, what are you talking about? Let me get that. Let's play that back because this doesn't make any damn sense.
Not to be specific.
All right, Harvey, I'm busting your ass right here.
He becomes a go.
So the media, in other words, me,
essentially becomes a go-between, describes the consequences if the demand is not met.
Okay, so there's severe consequences. The demand is not met.
It also involves the media.
It also involves me, Dia. It also involves me, the media. In other words, it involves me, TMZ. Watch me. It's all about me.
Saying that the media essentially becomes a go-between, a trigger, if you will, for getting this ransom money. We have been asked not to be specific about any of that beyond what we've just said. We have forwarded this on to the FBI, and they are looking into it. The email that we received today does not have the same crypto account as the crypto account in that first ransom letter that we received.
So you're just getting a bunch of scammers sending you damn letters and wallets hoping to get money. None of these are probably even real. Media.
A couple of other things. We told you yesterday that the FBI went around to various gun stores in the Tucson area
Sure, that was a bust.
With a list of names, trying to see if anybody on that list bought a gun at any of these shops. We were
There was a big gun show there, so there you go.
told, and we told you this yesterday, that the list was created by the people who had purchased a holster similar to the one that the kidnapper was wearing. The FBI had gone to Walmart and other.
Should be exactly the same one. It shouldn't just be similar. It should be the exact holster. You can't do similar. You have to do the backpack, or it's not the backpack. It is either one or the other.
Retailers created this list.
You know what, Laura? I don't even know why TMZ didn't put up in the beginning the $50,000. And I said in a previous live that Harvey should start a escrow account, crypto, if you will. Start an escrow account in crypto with its own address that can go directly into the address of the kidnapper ransom notes. And as soon as they tell who has her and where she is, they get the $50,000. Period. And then they go arrest the person and find Nancy. But no, they have to, these rich TMZ millions of dollars of income, and they're hogging all this coverage. I don't know where these letters are coming from. Are they coming from this guy here on the screen? Is he sending the letters and making tons of money doing it? I don't know. I'm just speculating.
We are told that this did not bear fruit, that so far it turned up nothing, that there was.
I bet you tomorrow there's going to be a new demand and a new letter. You're not going to believe it. It's February 20th. Yesterday we had that letter that's exploded into Mexico, and now we've got a new demand. That'll be tomorrow.
There's no match here of somebody buying a gun and buying that holster, at least.
Who's back checking TMZ? I don't know. Nobody.
From that list. A couple of other things.
Could get arrested for false something impeding an investigation, right? Yes. Laura has thinking just like I am.
Things. The FBI team, there is a team that is working on just finding people who have bought items similar to the ones the kidnapper is wearing. They actually have a team.
This guy's too funny, man. I mean, wow. Of course they have a team looking at that. It's the only evidence they have is what they saw on the video.
Contacting Walmart.
An actual team working on it.
And other retailers. And their focus is finding matches, people who have bought more than one of these items, a backpack, a jacket, a holster, or anything else. Again, we are told that so far they do not have any real leads on that. So the bottom line, and this is a quote from a law enforcement source, we are shaking the trees looking for clues. So they are doing everything they can. There's one other thing that I was asked to mention, and that is something I know to be true.
You guys, when this guy talks, he's like, I know it to be true. I'm gonna.
True. The FBI is really serious that anybody who is trying to get money from the Guthrie family,
anybody who's sending letters that are fake, are going to be prosecuted, including maybe Harvey.
With a phony demand letter is going.
Phony demand letter. He said it himself.
going to spend, as it was put to me, a long, long time in federal prison.
All right, Harvey, listen to this part, and I want you to listen good. Listen.
Money from the Guthrie family with a phony demand letter is going to spend, as it was put to me, a long, long time in federal prison.
You better think twice before you make that damn letter up for tomorrow.
The FBI.
I'm just playing. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just saying, it's happened before.
Does not mess around with things like that. And they are laser focused to find both the kidnapper and people who are exploiting the Guthrie family. The search for Nancy.
All right, Harvey. Oh, here he is again. But now we got the deception detective on the case. Let's see what he says. Yeah, we know. That could be anybody. Yeah, it's true. Savannah's husband is right up there in the Clintonian, circle, so to speak. And then you got his wife, who's exposing things about a very powerful man who has in the same circles as her husband. That could be a problem. Come up blank. New York Post found the glove. How did they? It's a newspaper. How does a newspaper find a glove? I just saw your chat. Was it really SWAT responding to JLR? No. There's another angle. The deception detective is on the case just like me. What if Harvey and all these black gloves are just bullshit? Hey, I've heard that somewhere. You see that? Forgot to that's the first time today I've done that. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
And obviously fake ransom.
All right, let's do it.
Arizona right now. This is called a PCR test. The CODIS system.
Black gloves have been found in proximity to the crime scene, Nancy Guthrie's house, and that's actually not surprising. That's what I would expect when you have multiple investigative agencies all looking for black gloves, and probably some of them also wearing black gloves so that they don't leave fingerprints anywhere. In fact, at this point, you might even have people actually leaving black gloves in the area just so they can quote unquote find them and have something to report about and post on social media about. Kind of like how a news agency might send themselves fake ransom letters so they have something to report about, or at the very least, treat an obviously fake ransom note as serious and take it at face value so they have something to report about with plausible deniability. But
why would they even report about it if they thought it was bullshit? I was so confused. You couldn't hear. You couldn't hear it either. You should have been able to hear it.
that's coming up next. At this point, as far as the gloves go, I doubt any DNA will be found that links to the actual disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. A, because I doubt the kidnapper would actually leave their gloves right there on the scene when they didn't leave even a trace of evidence anywhere else in the house. And B, because I'm still not convinced this was an actual kidnapping by a stranger for ransom. So let's get into the next part of this update.
Now, something else that we have learned. There are stories out there that gun shops have been given around 40 names of people that the FBI wanted to check to see if people bought.
I saw that, Laura, about Banfield wanted to hook up with Epstein. I did see that, and it was a couple times in the files where she was asking about that.
Bought a certain type of gun, namely the gun that was in the holster of the presumed kidnapper. We told you this is a semi-automatic handgun. So what we found out is that they have already checked out the holster to see who has bought a similar holster in that area. And the names that were given to the gun shops are people who actually bought that type of holster. And it's not like those people are all people of interest, but what they want to find is, did somebody both buy a holster like that and buy a gun like that? And then all of a sudden, they're going to be real interested in that person.
Especially if they bought a backpack like that, and a mask like that, and a jacket like that, and a holster like that, and a gun like that, and a face like that, that would probably be the guy.
So that is why the FBI is checking out gun shops in that area.
Yeah.
If you're a longtime subscriber, you'll know I don't put any credence into
I love Jenna Bug.
body language. I basically don't pay attention to it at all. But there's one thing I noticed, or at least my subscribers did. As I posted on X back when the FBI first released this footage, it looked like the kidnapper was left-handed. And if my subscribers and I are correct about that, it would mean that his holster was probably borrowed. In other words, it wasn't his own and he didn't buy it. So let me know in the comments below what you think. Now let's get back into my wheelhouse, statement analysis, because what Harvey Levin says here about the most recent ransom request they received is very bizarre.
Final thing I want to say is that the man who has been sending us emails demanding to know and demanding money in return for information leading to the identity of the kidnapper and the location of Nancy Guthrie. We have received now numerous letters from this person. We are not going to talk about this person anymore.
Really? You're a liar.
Because if I tell you that he sent us another letter but didn't give us the information, and I keep telling you he sent us another letter and another letter, then suddenly when I stop, everybody's going to figure out, oh, he must have finally given the information.
Nope.
And that could screw up the investigation.
What? That's bizarre.
Because that information is going to go immediately to the FBI, and then they're going to do their thing. So by definition, if we keep saying, we got another one, we got another one, we got another one, and all of a sudden we say we're not going to talk, you're going to figure out that means he just gave it up, and it could then tip off the kidnapper. So we're not going to say anything more unless and until we get that information and pass it on to the FBI. And at some point, then we will let you know. And also, that creates a public record for the person who would give us this information, that it could lead to the kidnapper and therefore entitle them to the reward.
Oh, Lord, Harvey Levin, give me a break.
So radio silence on that front, but there is movement. And, I will say one other thing, that I spoke to a law enforcement source today who said that this is gumshoe detective work right now, that they are just chasing down every possible lead they can to try and find the kidnapper and Nancy Guthrie.
In case you didn't catch it, how did Harvey Levin know that the ransom demander is a man? I doubt they're signing off on their demands with their name. And speaking of signing off, how is TMZ receiving these demands anyway? At one point, Harvey said it was a letter, and at another point, he said it was an email. In statement analysis, at least, when people use different words for the same thing, it usually means a change in reality. And often it means that the story's made up, so there's no firm thing that they're picturing. I've put the recognizing information card from my deception deck, my 52 favorite rules for spotting lies and manipulation, on your screen right now if you want to read the full rule. All that said, I don't think TMZ is sending these requests to themselves in order to report on it, the same way I don't think the New York Post planted that glove. Cognitive dissonance is a very powerful thing, so if the incentives are big enough, your brain might just be blind to red flags that otherwise would alert you to something being an obvious fake or hoax. Check the end card for my Nancy Guthrie playlist if you want to binge watch my analysis so far, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next installment. Until next time, stay true.
It's the deception detective on old Harvey. Emails read that Nancy could be a whistleblower to a lot of things that Sav hubby was involved in. Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw some AI BS video claiming Nancy Guthrie had been an accountant for some medical institution, and they were making charges that were phony to hospice centers, and she was the accountant, and she had flagged all of this stolen money, and they were going to be caught with billions of dollars, and that's why they took her. All bullshit, in my opinion. Nancy hated Trump and wanted him and his family arrested. She also was against ICE and wanted all illegals to flood our country. That's bizarre. Who would want that? Who would want that? I don't want that. Crazy. Okay, we're down to 12 people.
Let's bring in Morgan Wright. He's the CEO and founder of the National Center for Open and Unsolved Cases. He is live outside of the Pima County Sheriff's Office in Tucson. Morgan, it's great to have you back on the program. You have such great insights, especially because this case seems unsolved. Can I just start from the very beginning here? Because I'm still very confused. This looks like a home invasion, at least on the face of it, gone wrong. Many people think it is. But if it is a home invasion, why would someone go into a house, presumably to burglarize it, something go wrong, and then take the body with them? Why would they not just leave the body there and get the heck out?
Because it's not a robbery. It's a kidnapping, dummy.
That is one of the toughest questions to answer.
I don't understand sometimes the view of the liberals that are watching CNN and then MSN, MSDNC, or whatever the hell it is, but their position is always just opposite of the other side's position, even if it's bizarre, like women and the Olympics or sports or trans operations on children. Just bizarre shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy.
Sure, when you look at it, so, I look at it from the eyes through a detective first, say, behaviorally, what does it tell me? Well, the person is very comfortable being where they're at. What does comfort tell you? Is that they don't expect to be caught, that they maybe are familiar with a train, or they have a way that they have a way they know to escape the area, exfil from the area quickly. Now, what we don't know, and this is where the importance of the pacemaker is so vital. That's the best unbiased witness we have right now, which is at 2:10 when that pacemaker pinged. Did it show normal heartbeat like she normally has? Did it show she was in distress? Or did the telemetry show there was no heartbeat? And then that gives us an idea based on what happened in the timing. So yeah, to your point, why would it happen? There's most people that when they commit property crimes, you'll see burglaries during the day. They do it because it's low risk for them. They don't want anybody home. We've seen high-profile athletes have their homes broken into. Why do they do that? Because they know they're at the Super Bowl or they know they're at a game. In this case, there's a confrontation. We don't know what started the confrontation. And this gets into why the sheriff said there was DNA found inside the house, but it was not blood. So that gets you to lead. Was there a confrontation where the mask was pulled off, the ski mask was pulled off and hair fell down, and that's the foreign DNA that we're looking at. So then you ask, why would they happen? There's one hypothesis is that once she pulled the mask off, she could see him, and he was scared that she would recognize him. And then maybe she was alive when they came out, and that's why they did it. Look, I don't want to get into conspiracy theories, but if you follow the facts and follow the blood trail, we know that the blood came out on the front porch down 2 steps, but the blood stopped at the end. So at some point, we know we're introducing a vehicle into it. Then the vehicle introduces a question: is there another person?
So you raise
Exactly. It's kind of obvious.
really lots of really great questions there about what the pacemaker registered, and we don't know the answers to those, but we can be pretty confident that the police do have the answers to those questions, correct?
We don't know.
Yeah, and that gets back into the helicopter. Actually, when I was flying out here, a friend of mine who's uber smart, Dave Kennedy, you guys have had him on, his trusted sec. Him and I testified in Congress together on healthcare.gov. We were going back and forth. How would we do this? Now, I know that the sheriff's office used a helicopter. We wanted to use a drone. And so David had already created, he's got a prototype working, because you have what's called a high gain amplification antenna on the bottom. A helicopter creates a lot of interference, sometimes electromagnetic interference, but that's why they're flying low to the ground. So the reason you fly low to the ground is that's low power Bluetooth. But if we know, and I'm sure this is why they're doing it with that pacemaker, it has what's called a MAC address, a machine addressable, but that's the unique identifier for it. It's broadcasting. And so if Dave's already written the software, you can narrow it down to where that's the only signal we're looking for. Wow. And so what you do is you use what's called an omnidirectional antenna to scan a big area. Oh, I have a ping over here, then a directional antenna vectors you in. So that's what they're doing. They're looking for the way that
That makes sense. I was going to say, because there's a gazillion Bluetooth signals going on. It has to be exactly the right one.
Pacemaker communicates with the iPhone. That's the signal they're looking for. And those pacemakers can go for 10, 12 years on that lithium battery.
Have you ever seen a case solved by doing this?
No.
Not yet. But what's interesting is that the medical industry does this all the time. They look, well, what's our line of sight? What's our communications? They want to know, as they design these devices for safety and security, how far out can you go? Well, if I can see you, you can see me. Right. So
I mean, it's new technology.
That's what it's doing with that signal.
Yeah. I love how you call the pacemaker the witness. It's true.
Yeah, it is true. And actually, when you talk about, you haven't seen a case solved yet with this, Bluetooth sniffer, if you will. We have seen recent cases. We were pointing out that the Brian Koberger case took 47 days to get him. And in that case, it was the cell phone data that was crucial to the case. So our investigators obviously looking still into cell phone data, and can it be coupled with what they may be able to gain with the Bluetooth?
That's why they had that guy, they did that search warrant at Rodriguez. Is that what his name was? Poor guy who they jacked up. That was just out with his family door dashing because his phone was found in that area. So, yeah, that's why they got that guy, and they busted his garage door. I think they broke a couple windows in his van, and they haven't apologized. They haven't said anything. He's left under a cloud of suspicion. And Pima is just not stepping up to the plate. They should come out and apologize to that guy and say, we were wrong, and pay for his freaking damage before he sues your ass.
This is how they find your calls. This is how they find me
Yeah, he does have a lawyer.
in Tucson. But the problem with that is you have to subpoena each carrier individually. There's no nationwide dump. So you have to subpoena each carrier individually. The difference between that and ad tech data, ad tech is your mobile devices on your phone. And they're pinging. How does my phone know I'm in Tucson? Because one of my apps are pinging, giving my information back to advertisers. Well, advertisers on those apps sell it to a data aggregator, which is lawful. Just want to.
That does not. This is where this guy is wrong. No app on your phone is going to tell you, is going to tell a cell phone tower where you are. The signal from your phone is going to tell the cell phone tower where you are. You triangulate those signals, and that's how they find the cell phone. It's not, you could have a GPS locator app on your phone and then send that to whatever, somebody, and then that gives them your location, but it's basically the same thing. I don't understand what's going on there.
I want everybody to understand it's lawful. When you download an app, you say, yes, I agree to do this. What we're doing now, we can do what the cell site can't do is we can take a dump of an entire area regardless of carrier. And what we do is we look for patterns of activity. So back to your point about, do we see ingress activity? Do we see people staging, which is we found an interesting cluster about a half a mile from where the glove was found on the side of the road. I don't know, I'm not connecting them yet, but it was interesting, which that location is 400 meters from Nancy's home. So we're looking at taking that data, but that's what you can do with ad tech data that you can't do with cell site data, because we don't need a warrant for that. We put it all together, and now we've been crunching. We've now gone back 6 months and dumped a ton of data, which gets into a really big file. But we've got what's called a retrieval augmented generation, the RAG. So we're actually using that inside AI engines to look at human behavior. Is a person walking? So I can tell the difference between if you're walking or in a car. Well, that
If you got your phone. But these guys didn't have their phones. If they did, they would be in jail right now.
gets into, to your point earlier about how would they get out of there, right? So even with Kohlberger, he turned off his phone, then turned it back on. That's actually a behavioral clue that shows also consciousness, but it shows, but it tells me, it tells that absence is also evidence to say, okay, he stopped here, but that's the behavior we're looking for. Which signal came into the area, shut off, waited. We know the time frame. That's why the narrowing the timeline is so important. And then it turned back on. Now we can say, oh, that's a device of interest. Let's track it.
Morgan, this is just absolutely fascinating. And
I should have had all that done by now. It's day 19.
We look forward to digging further into it as the show goes on. Great stuff, Morgan, right? Thanks, Morgan.
Thanks, Morgan.
Thanks, you.
Thanks, Morgan. Good Lord, you guys. What is going on with this case? I don't get it. Where is this lady? Mexico? Tucson? Close by? Is she alive? We are in this world. We are not of it. That's right. Yes. We don't want to be worldly. We want to be spiritual. I sure hope they find her soon, because this is getting day, we're past half a month now.
On the East Coast, we began with the Fox News alert. This is Fox and Friends Weekend, the desperate search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie entering its third week. Investigators are coming through every video and chasing down every lead, but still have not narrowed down on a suspect.
We are awaiting the forensic results from Friday night's massive police operation at a home that's just 2 miles away from Nancy's home. That operation led to 4 people being detained, but then released. While officials say everyone who was questioned is cooperating, there are still no signs of Nancy. We can expect more law enforcement operations in the coming days.
Authorities are now turning to the sky, implementing a high-tech Bluetooth scanner on a helicopter in hopes of detecting Guthrie's pacemaker. For the latest on the ground, let's go to Alicia Cunha, who is live outside of Nancy's Tucson home. Good morning, Alicia.
Good morning to all of you. Regarding that Bluetooth scanner, we have a couple of videos to show you of the law enforcement helicopter that was hovering over Nancy Guthrie's home. Fox News.
I'm going to let you guys listen to this. I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick, and then I will show you what I found that I believe could be suspects in this case. Yes, we do need a space to feel safe without getting beat up. Yeah, I agree. This is not a place we do that unless you're an asshole. And I'll boot you. But I'll be right back.
News Digital found out that investigators were using a Bluetooth scanner placed on the bottom of the aircraft to detect Nancy's pacemaker, and this from February 3rd. It caught our attention that day because this helicopter was flying so low to the ground and appearing to concentrate on specific areas around the property. This as FBI and sheriffs conducted a court-ordered search warrant on a home about 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's home on Friday. 3 people were detained at this location, and a man was detained at a traffic stop at this Culver's restaurant. The Range Rover he was driving was searched and towed away by authorities. All 4 people were ultimately released. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos in a statement saying, "I'm guessing anyone at the residence was detained, but that is standard procedure to allow investigators serving a search warrant freedom to conduct their search. I was not at the scene, and I'm sure people were detained, but no one was arrested. And more importantly, no sign of Nancy was found." And that is the key point here as we enter into week 3 of her abduction. There is no sign of her, even with 30,000 tips sent to law enforcement and a $100,000 reward for her safe return and arrest and conviction of whoever did this. Now, Rachel, you mentioned the sheriff has also said that they are still awaiting test results on the forensics that was done on that Range Rover and from that search on Friday. But as it stands, no arrests, no persons of interest. Back to you.
All right, who was in that Range Rover anyway? Let's find out who was in that Range Rover and what is going on. Public notice, Tucson, February 2nd, 2026. Statement of factual grounds for the seizure or forfeiture. On May 15th, 2025, Marana police officer observed a vehicle driven by Luke Daley driving in a manner consistent with drug trafficking. A woman named Kayla Day was, let's see, let's see if I can pull it up. Yeah, I'll read it here. I just can't see you guys. Yeah, Kayla Day was a passenger in the car of Luke Daley. An officer walked by the vehicle while it was parked in the Walmart parking lot at 7635 North La Chola in Pima County. He observed drug paraphernalia in plain view in the car. Consequently, the vehicle was searched and officers found a duffel bag on the passenger seat that held a 9mm AR-style pistol and a loaded magazine. Kayla Day had a backpack in her possession that contained a for sale amount of fentanyl pills and 17 Suboxone strips. Officers also found the captioned $1,366 cash. Both Daley and Day's cell phones were found to contain messages confirming they were actively involved in drug sales. Luke Anthony Daley and Kayla Noel Day have been indicted on drug trafficking charges related to this investigation in Pima Superior Court. Case number CR 2025-2423. All right. So, who is Kayla Day? And who is Kayla Day? and Luke Daley? Let's find out. I don't know yet. Who are these people to Nancy? We do not know. Let's see. Here's what I was reading from. Now, this guy right here, you see my cursor, is Luke Daley right here. He matches, his face matches perfectly with the guy in the video from Nancy Guthrie's house. This guy over here is Kayla Day's husband. And I believe his name is William Hubie. William Hubie. And he was formerly incarcerated for smuggling human beings from Mexico to here. One time he was thrown in jail for running from the Border Patrol, losing control of his vehicle, smashing into another vehicle, and killing an 80-year-old woman. He was a human trafficker, and he has connections in Mexico, obviously, if he's trafficking humans, and he spent time in jail. He was sentenced to 11 years, but didn't do all of it. Okay, so this is putting a puzzle together here. Now, this is the same guy you saw with all the tattoos, and his old lady, the tattoo artist, Kayla Day, who was busted with Luke Daley doing the rugs, selling the rugs, moving the weight, pushing the pills. And let's see what else. Oh, that's the book thing. We don't want that. We don't want that. This is also Kayla Day right here. Tattoo artist. I think she went to court the last couple days for that arrest that we talked about earlier. Now, let's look at this. Here's all four of them together. This is Luke Daley, or Luke Daley's right here. The house that was swatted, that's this man. And an unrelated warrant served on exactly the same time is the guy that was driving the Range Rover. This guy's name's Zach. His face happens to fit this mask guy, if there was more than one. See the roll in his, see this roll of fat right here, double chin? You can see that. And this guy, a different guy, has a different look, and his eyes match perfectly. And if they wanted to get somebody into Mexico, we already have a guy who has human trafficked to Mexico before in William Hubie. And we also have Kayla Day, who was arrested with Luke Daley before. Is this getting complicated? Oh no, not PTSD. So anyway, that's cool, Laura. So it's just interesting that these two guys, match perfectly the mask's figures from Nancy Guthrie's abduction of the video. We also have him from the Warren house tied to Kayla, who he is in business with, selling rugs. And then we got the human trafficker here, allegedly, speculative. And then we have Zach, who's driving the Range Rover. We don't know. I'd like to find out who this Zach guy is and how all these people tie into Nancy Guthrie or Savannah Guthrie. There is other days that may or may not be related to the Guthrie family, to be determined. What's this? Okay, so this is from law enforcement. We can confirm that Luke Daley was the subject of 2 search warrants issued and served on February 13th. All right. Mr. Daley and his mother were both detained by law enforcement while the search warrants were being executed. Neither Mr. Daley nor his mother were arrested in connection to the case or any other case. Mr. Daley has no link whatsoever to Nancy Guthrie and has no information related to her abduction in Tucson or whatever, supposedly. But why were they there then? Who signed the warrant? What was the evidence? What was the evidence that the judge looked at to sign the search warrant for Luke Daley's house? And what was the probable cause for the search warrants on the Range Rover? And what was the probable cause for the search on Mr. Luke? This guy, what was the probable cause for his search? Let's see. I got some. What was the probable cause for this guy, Luke Daley? Had to be something to raid his house with 1 million cops and 2 SWAT teams. I mean, like, they were expecting like some massive gunfight or something. I don't know. I don't get it. All right, let's take this off. I don't want you guys seeing my poor son-in-law getting bit by that dog. My God. Anyway, so, wow. I read somewhere that Luke owned the dealership where the Range Rover was purchased. Lease bought the guy who drove the blue car. I do believe he owned the blue car, the crashed blue car that they towed away. But I think the insurance company towed it away. I don't know if it's related to the case. So that's where I am right now in my investigation on this case. Where the hell is Nancy? Did she go to Mexico? What is this? Let's find out what this is. I'm gonna figure this stuff out and make this all cool for you guys one day. soon.
little bit more about what this Bluetooth
Oh,
scanner does, but more importantly, why the heck are we in week 2 and they're trying to locate her through the pacemaker? If they had that technology, why wasn't that used on day 1?
Yeah.
You know, Rachel, I'm not sure that it's they're just now starting to use it. It may be that we're just learning that they have been using it, because that video we showed you from February 3rd when they were hovering, that was 2 days after that she was reported missing. And it was striking, I will tell you, that day. And I think we even maybe talked about it on the air, because it is so low to the ground. And it was just kind of sitting there. And we just assumed that they were searching, right? That they were looking for something. It never occurred to us at that moment that they could have something trying to pick up her pacemaker.
And so the way obviously this works is the way the pacemaker works. The pacemaker has its own power source, and no matter the condition of the heart or whether or not or the position of her cell phone, that Bluetooth is going to be pinging to connect with something. Kind of walk us through how that would work.
You're welcome.
I for sure am not the expert on pacemakers. John Roberts, I do know, is, because he has one.
I don't know.
From what I understand, I mean, the technology stands on it.
I'll call Baby Mab today as soon as I get off of here to find out how he's doing. He looked pretty tore up. Hopefully he got off work for a while.
Its own. It has its own battery. There isn't a concern that it is going to.
I got to take my dog on a walk to lose some weight at 4 o'clock, so it's 15
expire,
minutes.
at least not right now, in terms of the pacemaker battery. And then there's an app there. It's connected. It's got its own homing device at the home, and we do know that that's separated. But in terms of how much they can gather in terms of locating her, perhaps this Bluetooth can help, because if it picks something up, then that's hope, right?
Problem is with those is it just doesn't go very far. You have to be right on top of her to get that signal. And then the software has to crunch through every Bluetooth signal that they pick up to try to find the MAC address for that particular device. And that's a long shot. It's a Hail Mary right there.
It's like your earbuds that are always searching, even if it's not connected to Griff's phone. My earbuds are going to be like pinging to him.
No, they don't ping automatically unless you initiate the pairing. Then it will, but not. Doesn't just do it all the time. Your earpods or AirPods or Raycons, whatever, they don't just ping all the time. You have to initiate a pairing sequence for that to happen. So
So is this been going on? You said
I don't think this is going to work.
they started, you think maybe in day 2 using this. Have they been doing this throughout the last 2 weeks, or is there an uptick in this use?
So we did see them early on. We haven't seen a helicopter on a daily basis in that kind of pattern, that low to the ground, Rachel. But we do know that when there have been searches in other areas around the Tucson area, the helicopter goes out there. We haven't seen it because we weren't out there watching to see if they were also low to the ground and using that scanner to try and locate her. But that would make sense, right? If they believe that they're actually looking for her location and maybe not necessarily a suspect, that they would, use this scanner to try to see if they can pick something up. I
think they got it on drones now too.
It's the closest thing they have to some sort of, location device that you have, kind of like what you have on your phone.
Sure. Yeah. Alicia, let me just ask you one thing about what Sheriff Nanos has told us yesterday, obviously about the operations that happened. But then he said also that expect more law enforcement actions. I'm assuming we really don't have any idea what that means. Is there any more detail you can add to that?
No.
I found that statement, Griff, to be very interesting when you consider we're 2 weeks in and we've seen law enforcement activity every day. On this case, we've seen, members of law enforcement just walking the streets of this area. They've been searching in the terrain. They've been at this home. They've been at Annie Guthrie's home. So I wasn't sure if he meant we're going to. On this case, we've seen, members of law enforcement just walking the streets of this area. They've been searching in the terrain. They've been at this home. They've been at Annie Guthrie's home. So I wasn't sure if he meant we're going to
How's
see even
back to
more.
that Range Rover? I want to know what's inside that box, inside the Range Rover. Yeah, thank you, Shauna. Prayers for him.
Of that, or if there's going to be something different. He did mention, however, that, we see a lot, and you've noticed a lot of the action that we've seen happens later in the day.
Obviously left to the this Bluetooth device search operation, but also we're left with the.
All right, we're killing that. We're gonna end on this. See what Brian's got going. And Mab's got to get walking his fat ass down the road with the dog. Michelle, you can hang out. It's crazy I haven't found this lady going on 20 days. Yeah, crazy.
To clear people who they think may have been involved.
Practicing routes. They've done some dry runs here. There's a great interest in law enforcement and in media cases, what the media is doing.
What you said, sources confirmed to me that they have used polygraph tests and continue to use polygraph tests, which are lie detector tests. They hook you up to a machine and monitor your levels to essentially see if you're lying. It's not a perfect science. It doesn't always stand up in a court of law, but they can sort of use it on the back end of investigations, which I'm told they are using in the Nancy.
This is true crime rocket science. 289,000 subscribers.
Guthrie case.
I got 1,600 maybe.
To clear people who they think may have been involved, that they just want to make sure, had nothing to do with it.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear.
Supervise the victim to exert control over the victim while the other drives. That being said, there are two reasons why I think we may be dealing with a single suspect, a lone wolf. The first reason I suspect we're dealing with a lone wolf is the 41 minutes spent inside the residence.
Yeah, what was that guy doing in there for all that time? It's a long time. Do you watch TRS? TCRS? Yeah, I found it to be calming too. I don't know how I found this guy, but I was like, hey, I'm going to check this out.
That's an awfully long time to be inside and not steal anything, which should.
And he's using some common sense.
Suggest the home invasion burglary aspect isn't what we're dealing with here. Think about it. Someone is inside the home for 41 minutes and they don't steal anything. They don't leave a ransom note either. The second reason is that poor Nancy could have been bound and gagged and placed in the trunk of a car. Because of her age, it's not necessarily the case that the perpetrator had help or felt he even needed any. After all, he was armed as well. It's also likely, in my opinion, that we're not only dealing with a lone wolf, but a rank amateur. If this was a group of individuals, presumably they would have consulted one another beforehand on what their strategy would be. And presumably at least one of the individuals had some experience at housebreaking. And probably one of the things that they would have discussed would have been how and where to enter the home.
Housebreaking. I've never heard it put like that.
And also how to deal with the cameras. Now, one of my theories in terms of what took so long, what was the perpetrator actually doing inside the home for such a length of time? Well, wasn't it that the perpetrator saw the camera, saw that the light went on, saw that he was caught on camera, and then confronted Nancy about it and wanted her to show him where this footage was and delete it, which of course she couldn't do. And this probably led to an argument and also led to the perpetrator getting more and more frustrated and more angry. Now, in terms of breaking and entering, one expert noted that a far easier and simpler way to break into Nancy's home wasn't to kick in the back door, but to simply break the glass next to it. There's a glass panel.
Now, wasn't that just a simple? They could have just simply broke the window there and just reached in and opened the door, and exactly the same thing on the back door, the back of the house. So they either had a key or they jimmied the slider in the back. With all the technology these days, how has a woman who has a famous daughter and the President of the United States speaking out not been found? Oh my God, she must have been terrified. This old lady just got dropped off from having dinner with her family. She probably had a few glasses of wine. Oh, Lord. And then whoever comes busting in to take her wherever, I don't know, man. It's just like, it's either somebody that's punishing Savannah or somebody's trying to get money. And I just don't see the money thing because they're not doing the things that you should do to get the money, like showing that she's alive, giving proof of life, sending a video of her. You could take a video of her and put it in the mail anonymously, mail it to TMZ. Harvey could plug it into his machine, show it to everybody. That would be proof of life. Wire him the money and set her free. But no, we got this quagmire of bizarre happenings here that do not look like your typical kidnapping. I think the last real kidnapping was the Lindbergh baby back in the 30s. Lord, yeah. It's the only other option.
Next to the front door and then open the door. And I think that is a reference to the front door, but the same actually applies.
Same in the back. You just punch that window out and you just open the door.
To the back door, which is partially made of glass. All you would have to do.
So getting in there wasn't going to be that hard.
Is break one of those little windows, stick
Patty
your hand
Hearst.
through, and
wasn't Patty Hearst like part of the deal? Patty Hearst was like got Stockholm syndrome and was like part of the gang and robbing banks and shit. You were thinking you might have been something to do with Savannah not being at the Olympics first. Maybe something else went instead. I don't know.
Open the.
That'd be a kidnap for money or punishment for Savannah for the Epstein files. I mean, that's the only two things I can think of.
And open the door. And I hope saying that if you have a door that is like that, that you're going to take measures to secure it. But the same applies to the Ramsey home. There were plenty of glass doors and windows next to doors that would have made a lot more sense to go into than the supposed intruder route, right? Now, I also want to respond to the theory that a Google search was done on Savannah Guthrie, her income, and also Nancy's address. And you can see what the psychology is here, that it's this idea that someone is trying to get hold of Savannah's money, and so they kidnap her mother with a view to getting Savannah's money. Now, while in theory this is a clever line of questioning, and we've certainly seen some very incriminating search history across several true crime cases, I want to come back to this whole idea. But first, let's just look at a couple of intertextual searches that were actually incriminating. Chris Watts Googled how to delete your Instagram account. It's in the discovery. Also, he Googled oxycodone, and he later admitted to.
Oh, this is a different case. He's given an example of
trying to poison Shanann to bring about a miscarriage by adding oxy to her shake. So those searches weren't random or for nothing. They were actually quite incriminating. In the Casey Anthony case, someone apparently searched for chloroform, also neck breaking and household weapons on the family computer. Casey's mother later claimed, I think she testified, that she did the search for chloroform as well as alcohol and inhalation. According to ABC News, Cindy Anthony told jurors that she searched for chloroform because she suspected her smallest dog might be getting poisoned from eating leaves in the backyard.
And that does not make any sense whatsoever. What would chloroform have to be doing with leaves or dogs? Are you kidding me? I don't get it.
Her search started with chlorophyll and spiraled to chloroform, she said. Well, do you believe that? In the Lori Vallow case, they also uncovered searches for shooting ranges near Rexburg.
That woman, look at her. She was like Satan incarnate.
Prior to Charles Veller being shot
Ew.
to death by Laurie's brother, Alex. Have a look at this.
Leading up to the shooting. So you had talked about the fact that this email associated with Alex Cox that is subscribed to Alex Cox searched for places to shoot near Rexburg on the 23rd of September.
Correct.
And we second is a couple hours before the shooting.
Correct.
Concerns. Now, in the Guthrie case, they are talking about searches that apparently took place in June or July last year. In other words, 6 months prior to these events. According to Fox News, as the Pima County Sheriff's Department and FBI continue to work on the case, Fox News Digital was able to recreate Google Trends reports that appear to show searches for Nancy's address and Savannah's salary that occurred before her disappearance. They show there may have been activity for Guthrie's address in the Catalina foothills between June 21st and 28th, 2025, originating in Arizona. And to their credit, they've blanked out those, that sort of sensitive information. But this is about as random as the speculation surrounding a kidnapping reference in Savannah's book, or the fact that Savannah interviewed one of the victims in.
Now that's just bizarre. I don't think it has anything to do with the book. Kidnapping my sister and me, what went down, just having fun. I don't even understand what's going on there. Where her aunt would take her to Phoenix and they would act like they were kidnapped.
In the Epstein files. 6 months before the time isn't actionable. It's not something that is really evidence. Now, do you remember I mentioned a funnel? Evidence supporting a theory works the same way. If you stumble on a theory and that theory turns out to be valid, what you find is evidence in all sorts of areas starts to come in that supports, that validates your theory. A lot of corresponding evidence, on the other hand, on the one side means you end up with one suspect on the other, and they all sort of work together.
And why do you need all of this hardware and SWAT teams and cordoning off the whole neighborhood and for hours and hours just to question like 3 suspects? Why don't you just get a search warrant, walk up to the house with a couple deputies, initiate the search with your search team, 5, 10 guys, whatever. You don't need 50 guys for this. I don't understand it.
All those threads sort of go in a particular direction, but you can't build a case with a single strand of speculation and say that then leads you to some unknown suspect and call that theory worth its salt. And yet the case is starting to wane. And when that happens, what that often leads to, there are desperate folk that desperately want the hamster wheel to keep turning. They want the show to keep going on so that they can make more money, and they'll find ways to kind of manufacture evidence and manufacture interest.
So is that what we're seeing? Is gloves being planted and notes being sent that are all phony just to gin up stories so everybody can make money except for me? Because I'm not monetized? I don't get it. I don't get it.
And what they'll basically do is try and throw spaghetti at the ceiling, hoping some of it will stick. So you can probably expect a lot of random ideas coming out, but what we really want is evidence that supports other evidence and that takes us in a particular direction.
I agree 100%. True crime, rocket science.
Does that make sense? Anyway, I'm not going to take it further than that. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.
That's a cool place, cool channel. I'll sub that up right now. I'm subscribed to way too many channels. I'm interested in way too much stuff. I mean, I'm in Bigfoot channels. I look at automotive fabrication, drag racing, boxing, all kinds of esoteric topics that I investigate. I investigate everything. It's just crazy. Mab investigates. It's crazy. It's insane. Looks like Dolly's doing something. What's he doing? We'll check in on him for a second. We'll see what Dolly's doing. Then I'll go over there and mod. Whoa, is that over?
Okay. This house right up here. This house got bars and everything on the window. Now that's how Nancy should have been living. Look, y'all see that? Every window has bars on it. The door is gated with has security cameras out the ass.
It's probably where she's at.
Every window, look, bars, bars, bars. Ain't nobody kidnapped.
She's in that house, Dolly. Go get her.
But whoever lives there, okay? That's like a damn bank. See that? Look at that. You ain't breaking into that bitch. That's for damn sure.
Dolly cracks me up.
That's the next door neighbor. So Nancy lives right over here. Back through these woods right here. And I bet you that house that rent it, the news people rent it, is this house right up here. Oh, look at that. You can see right back. No, that's the neighbor's house. I remember the blue thing. So Nancy lives right over there.
So the media rented a house so they can stay there 24/7. Mets fan, you might be right. Sell it to the public. I'm surprised I've not had a visit. This is crazy, guys. It's crazy. It's insane. Where is Nancy? Is she in Mexico? Is she in that barred up house right there that I just drove by? Nobody's really taking it's just bizarre because it's not a botched robbery because nothing was taken, and robbers don't steal people. Kidnapping, if you're going to kidnap somebody, you're going to keep them alive, right? Because if you kill them, you're not going to get any money. So you got to keep them alive, and then you got to send proof of life to whoever has the money so you can get some of it. So whoever did this is an idiot because they haven't sent proof of life and they're not getting any money. So what's our next motive? Distracting from something else, a big psyop, where the news cycle is taken over by this event to cover up the breaking of another event. And that is where we stand. That is where we are. By God, it's bizarre. I mean, I just don't know where to go from here. I'm going to keep sleuthing, and then I'm going to be back. The only way Savannah could take power back if she called for a memorial service for her mother and said they believe she's gone, then everybody just go away. Yeah, I mean, she could end the cycle of distraction. That's what this is. You know, trauma bonding. It's all part of the programming. You'd be surprised what really goes on. I was in the intellectual property field for 20 years, and I have always had meetings with like the CEOs, chief technical officers, chief financial officers, and chief executive officers, CEOs, CTOs, and CFOs of companies, huge companies. Google was one of our clients. And yeah, we've seen some crazy shit. So anyway, I gotta get out of here. It's 10 minutes late. I gotta get on my walk so I can lose some weight. Thank you guys for coming by and chopping it up with me. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace out. I love y'all.